Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. It is Positive Friday. Might be a test today. It might be a test. The Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. We are also live on Owners Nation YouTube and Facebook, as well as streaming at sports1440.ca. We're on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, on the apps, Stingray, iHeartRadio, Radio Player app. If you've never tried it, you might want to. It's great, convenient. Anywhere you're going, if you're going on a long road trip, you'll be able to pick us up anywhere. So thanks, as always, for listening. We have a loaded show, and there's lots to discuss. Something tells me we might talk a little bit about the Edmonton Owners today, who had a good first period last night. And then, really, for probably the first time in the series, Vancouver really dominated them. And the difference was in Game 3, when the Oilers dominated the Canucks and outshot them 45-18, what Vancouver didn't do that game was gift Edmonton a goal. They ended up winning. They didn't gift them the goal. You think about the second period. So the Oilers are up 2-1. You have 2 5-on-5 goals. Evander Kane, Matthias Janmark. When your fourth line scores, it's a good sign. Yet they go into the second period, and Vancouver comes out, and they're dominating. They're all over the – and the Oilers, for the most part, they're absorbing the blows. It's body shot. There's a jab. Yeah, they're not going down. And then Evan Bouchard, who had been great in the first 4 games, has an absolutely catastrophic turnover. Leads directly to DiGiuseppe's goal. Because if that play doesn't happen and Bouchard does what he normally does 99% of the time and just moves the puck out, skates it up, boom, puck's out of the zone, maybe it's 2-1. Now, the Oilers are still on their heels, and Vancouver will push. But they might not have tied. And maybe Miller, it's only a tie game. Who knows what happens? So that was one. And then it's a 2-2 game. You're in the offensive zone for a face-off. You lose the draw. That happens. Vancouver gets it out. Now you have possession. Now, not like controlled, but still it's along the boards, right in front of their bench. Zach Hyman has the puck. And the Oilers have talked lots about they don't just like to throw the puck away. Right? Make plays. That's kind of been their motto. Not kind of. That's been their motto. And Hyman just throws it up the ice. Right to Vancouver. Like, there's no one going to be there. He's the left winger. He would have been better off to throw it back into his own zone because there was no Canucks there. Right? And then Vancouver gets it. Echo makes they make a bad line change. Right? Nurse has got to come on. He's in chase mode. Vancouver then puts it to the middle, goes off a skate, off the post, Miller scores. Now, Vancouver fans will say, hey, they deserve to win. And he's right. Vancouver was the better team for the majority of the game. Just as Edmonton was the better team for the majority game in Game 3, the difference is they didn't win. Right? Vancouver found a way to win. And they didn't gift Edmonton goals. And that has been something that, and it's going to rise up every now and then. But it came at the worst possible time for the Oilers. Now, I know there's some people that think the series is over now. There's no chance. I would pump the brakes on that. The Edmonton Oilers' best players yesterday simply weren't good enough. Their power play, which has been great all year, first round, first 4 games of this series, power play was excellent, 50%. They got a goal from Evander Kane. They got a goal 5-on-5 from their fourth line, and they had 5 power play chances. You should win that game. It's that simple. Their power play for one game did not get it done. And at 5-on-5, their best players they weren't up to snuff. It'll happen. So now, and think about it, like, look what happened in Game 4. JT Miller texts his coach afterwards, says, I'm sorry about how I played. He didn't like how he played. Right? A lot of the focus is on the Oilers. He didn't like what he did on the game-winning goal. Didn't like his overall game. Guess what? He can't change his overall game. Game's over. He acknowledged it. Move on. What does he do? Comes back with an excellent performance in Game 5. And that's what I would expect from Bouchard, from McDavid, from Draisaitl, Hyman. Go down the list. The Oilers' top guys. They got to be better than they were yesterday. They've been very good, but at the end of it, you win with your best players. Look at the New York Rangers. Did you see that game yesterday? The Carolina Hurricanes are at home. They get up 2-0 late in the second period. Then Panarin scores. It's 2-1. Now they go into the third. And Chris Kreider, one of their key guys, has a natural hat trick. The Rangers had not been very good 5-on-5 in the series. But guess what? When it mattered the most, one of your key guys shows up. I understand that, you need a few goals here and there. And it was actually 3-1 going into the third period. And then Chris Kreider, a natural hat trick in like 9 minutes and change. It was huge for the Rangers. So now they're into the conference final. A lot of people thought that they were reeling. They'd lost games 4 and 5. They were down 2-0 and 3-1 after 20 minutes. Most people, myself included, said, geez, we're going to game 7. I don't know if you were watching that before the Order game or not, but if you were, you probably had the same thought process that I did. But the Rangers didn't. And I'll tell you that the Edmonton Order players do not believe for a moment this series is over. They got one focus, and that is win at home game 6. You can't worry about game 7. Game 6. Win that, then it's game 7 for all the marbles. The Oilers were in this position. They have experience. They were in this position 2 years ago when they didn't have a lot of experience against the LA Kings. And they went into LA in a must-win game and won, and then came home and shut out the Kings 2-0 to win that series in 7. So they have experience on their side. Now, they also have the experience of last year where they needed to win game 6, down 3-2, and they didn't. So you can take both memories if you want, mix them up together, and figure out what you have. But to me, the Oilers, they're going to have to match the intensity of Vancouver. That was I can't get overly critical because it was one game. The Oilers have been the better team. They've controlled play for much of the series. The problem was they didn't win the games. Vancouver, in the game that they were clearly the better team, they won. Right? Edmonton, in theory, should have been up 3-1 before last night. Then they come home and they still have a chance to win, but they're not. So you have to ensure that not only are you the better team, the more desperate team, the more intent team, the more composed team, you got to win. It doesn't matter about shot attempts. It doesn't matter about expected goals. It matters about goals. That's what's all that matters. Effort, goals tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I'll be curious, does Chris Knobloch, Vancouver probably got a little bit of an emotional boost, like the Phil DiGiuseppe story. It's hard not to, as a parent. Anybody out there, you don't even have to be a parent. You can have parents. You can have human empathy, and you'd be like, man, that'd be a tough situation. Right? You go through it the whole time. I know there's a lot of people out there that have very challenging pregnancies for a long time. Where your wife is bedridden sometimes for months. In other situations, they're not sure the baby's going to live or not. And at that point, a playoff game means a whole lot of nothing. And for him to come back in and then score that goal, I'm telling you, the emotional boost that gave the team, it's hard to explain it. It's hard to put an actual number on what that would mean to a team, but think about it. Think about what that would mean if it was one of your friends or your siblings or, you know what I mean, somebody you're really close to. It would energize you. It just would. And so they had that going for them. They had a coach who called them out because really Vancouver had been outplayed for the vast majority of the first 4 games. Right? Game 3, the Oilers dominated them. They won, though. So you rarely are going to rip on your team when you win in the playoffs. But Rick Tocchet, I think his post-game presser in Game 4 was a combination of the carryover from Game 3's performance and then the loss in Game 4. And he made some changes. Now, if you look at the Oilers lineup, thing is last night, the fourth line was probably their best line start to finish. They're really good. But they got some other guys. Like if you can rest your pull out your starting goaltender, you might consider, Corey Perry getting a night off. He's not playing a lot, right? Not doing much. You might. Like Sam Carrick's probably chomping at the bit to get in, bring some intensity. We'll see. Maybe they do it. Or Knobloch says, you know what? I'm going to go with the guys that are here. I believe in our group. And I can understand that too. But the Oilers, Leon Draisaitl talked about it, the power play. Hey, they didn't match the desperation of the Canucks penalty kill. And normally they do. The one thing that gets overlooked about the Oilers power play a lot is their ability to extend offensive zone time by winning battles and getting pucks back. They're actually quite good at it. But yesterday they weren't. And they didn't really have an answer to the pressure of the penalty kill of Vancouver. Can't complain about the power play chances they got. Now, power plays are really insignificant. Both teams, neither one did anything, right? They had 4 and 5. Now, I know that that's probably a little skewed because there's the one that overlaps. So it's a short, 28-second power play for each team. So it's really like 0 for 3 and 0 for 4. And Vancouver seemed to gain momentum from their penalty kills because it sucked the life out of the Oilers. And the Oilers players they never had it. And you can't explain why. I never believe it's a lack of care. Oh, well, they didn't want to work hard. I don't think it's it at all. They just didn't execute. And if you've ever played sports, you've been on a team where some games, for reasons that you can't even explain, you just don't have it. And you try to get it, and then sometimes, it's worse, right? It's like Shane Falco. Feels like you're in quicksand. The more you dig, nothing happens. Now, I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what he said, but you know the scene. And that's how it was for the Oilers. So, they arrive back in Edmonton today. They'll head home. They'll get to the rink tomorrow a little bit earlier because if you missed it, tomorrow's game will be a 6:20 puck drop. Oilers and the Canucks. The building is going to be absolute pandemonium. It's going to be loud, just like it was in Vancouver. Right? I think it can make a difference. It gives your team a little bit of boost of energy now and then. And it'll be great. I'd be surprised if we don't get to Game 7. Now, Game 7, all bets are off, man. It's so hard to predict what happens in Game 7. But obviously, the Oilers have to get there first. So we will touch on that. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is the text line in our email inbox. Jeff Patterson will join us. Lorianne Munzer will be by. We'll hear from Arif Dean we'll preview the Avs and the Stars. Of course, Colorado in the same boat as the Oilers just a night earlier. They need to win tonight, as do the Boston Bruins. Both at home, both down 3-2. So we'll see. Can the home team, how many of these home teams, Boston, Colorado, Edmonton, can extend their series to 7 games? Craig Button will be by, Spec, Low Tide, and at 4 o'clock in the segment right after the 4 o'clock update, we are going to do the draw, and somebody is going to win $15,000 prize package to get a solar system on their home or the person they agreed to gift it to, courtesy of Action Electrical. A massive prize package, and I can tell you it's going to be an extra positive Friday for whoever wins that. So it'll be good. Very good. Hey guys, I like that Oilers have made adjustment on the power play. Canucks took away the middle. Oilers just kept playing into it. So I don't know how to feel about this. I'm concerned we're right where we were last year. Stu. Well, Stu, I think the Oilers power play has proven they adjust. Even the best power play isn't going to score a goal every game. It gets magnified because last night, you know what? In a game you lose 3-2 with a late goal. If your power play scores one, obviously you're leading at that point. I totally understand it. But I'm not too worried about the Oilers' power play and their ability to adapt. I think they've shown that for 5 years. They're good at it. You're not going to score every game. It wasn't the best game to go over, no doubt about that. But it's too quick for me to say that Vancouver's figured them out. I thought they had their number for one game. They worked harder. They were quicker. They were better. Hey, guys, Edmonton's a better team, but not if they let Vancouver play their game, from Steven Drumheller. Well, Vancouver likes to pack the house, right? So, yeah, I'd like to see Edmonton generate more. All they had to do was take their first period and just continue it. Right now, obviously easier said than done because the opposition has some say in it, and Vancouver came out pretty desperate. So. Hey guys, I'm positive that the Oilers got spanked last night, but I'm also positive that they're going to come back with positive vengeance. Oil in 7 from Blue. Hey guys, last night I felt the Oilers weren't focused on the small details. It seems to me the Oilers have this belief their skill will help them win, but come short with determination and persistency. From David. Well, last night I think definitely Vancouver outworked them, but I think we have to be somewhat realistic. The first 4 games, Edmonton controlled the play in the majority of those games. They got some below average goaltending, right? They weren't able to finish their chances, definitely in game 3. But as far as controlling the play, winning battle, they were fine. Last night, though, Vancouver did ratchet it up. And that's what happens later in the series. And that's what happens when, I've always said, if you give away a game, it can really come back to bite you. And not that the Oilers gave a game away, but I'd say they let a few slip through their fingers earlier in the series. Last night, I tipped my hat to Vancouver. They were the better team. Edmonton's been the better team in a lot of other games. And guess what? They're going to have to be in tomorrow night. They want to have a chance to get this to 7, then they have to be tomorrow night. Hey, guys, funny, who could have seen the CC Nurse and suspect goaltending sewer in the team in the playoffs? Everyone besides Holland could see it. Oh, well, he gets the ride off in the sauce set to ruin Columbus next from trading. Yeah, I'm not really sure I'm buying that Columbus rumor, number one. Here's the thing. I don't recall anybody at the trade deadline saying the Oilers should have went out and got a goaltender. Most people believe that Stuart Skinner played pretty well. All right, which goalie were you going to get at the deadline? Honestly, fair question. Which goalie were you going to consider at the deadline? Right? I said about CC all the time. The only real upgrade that was available, that was significant, was going to be Tanev. And we said it all along, there was no chance Calgary was trading Tanev to Edmonton. There just wasn't. So, like last night, Cody Ceci wasn't a factor in that game negatively at all. Why would you bring Cody Ceci's name up today? He had nothing to do with last night. Cody Ceci actually played pretty well last night. I would argue him and Kulak might have been their best D pair. But the Oilers, like some people are texting in like the series is over. I'm kind of perplexed by that. Why? Have the Oilers been the better team for the majority of the series? Just ask yourself that question. Yes or no? And if you say the answer is no, I'd be curious in what sense. Where? I guess goaltending, that'd be fair. Pretty big position. Hey, Gregor, who do you start in goal tomorrow? That's a good question. I think you have to start Calvin Pickard, don't you, Connor Halley?
Yeah, I would be 100% on board with that one. I would say he was probably the Oilers' best player last night, and he's given you all you've needed. There hasn't been the soft goal you want back. So, no, I would 100% go with Calvin Pickard tomorrow night.
Yeah. Hey, Greggs, what are your thoughts on the Scotty Scheffler incident? Didn't seem to bug him. He shot 66. Yeah, no. Well, here's the thing. Now, obviously, I wasn't there. I'm only reading the police report, right? So, first of all, somebody died, right? Somebody lost their life in a car accident. That's pretty serious. I don't care if you're a professional athlete. So, my initial reaction is and I'd like to hear his viewpoint. If the police officer comes to your car and says something, like, you don't just drive away. Well, I got a tee time. I'm a professional golfer. Right? It's kind of how it read to me. So, there's a little bit of, like I'm amazed by something. Yeah, well, Scotty Scheffler. What? Somebody died. Right? Hey, you can have think about it. He clearly wasn't in that much of a rush at the time of the incident, considering he then went to jail, right? Got let out and then still made it to his tee time. So he clearly wasn't that pressed for time that he had to drive his car away from an officer. Respect the police, man. I don't care who you are. Like, I'm stunned at how many people are like, yeah, but he's Scotty Scheffler. I don't give a bleep who he is. Somebody died. Be respectful. Have a calm conversation. And I'm sure that common sense would prevail. Hey, man. Yeah, this is who I am. This is what I have to do here today. Is there a way we can make it happen so I can get there? Now, maybe I got to be delayed 20 minutes. All right. That's fine. clearly he didn't need to be there that early to do something like that. So good on him. We'll hear the whole story, but how did the police officer fall? I have no idea. All I'm saying is I think it's a little naive of people to be like, oh, well, he's a sports person and he's popular and he's got to play in a major that he should just get to do what he wants. Sorry, I disagree. That falls into our societal weakness of just always wanting to give people special preferential treatment because of who they are. Somebody died. I think that's a very serious situation. You can wait 15 minutes. Clearly, you had a few hours before you actually needed to be there. Take a quick break. We'll come back. Jeff Patterson will join us and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The playoffs are wild, we all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
I've lost all power. The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
2:25. Welcome back. Positive Friday on Sports 1440. It will be a real positive Friday. If you are one of the contestants for Here Comes the Sun, just after 4 o'clock, we will do the draw, and one of the 20 finalists will win a $15,000 solar system courtesy of Action Electrical. Whew! That is going to be awesome. So, hey, if you're in that draw, if you know somebody who's in it, be sure to tune in. Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's, where, hey, stop in. You know what? You might need a little boost right now. You're a little bit frustrated. Tough loss last night. Well, the summer drink days are here. Maybe you don't want an alcoholic drink. You just want a McCafe iced coffee or Coca-Cola. It's only going to cost you $1. Do it right now at McDonald's. As we are joined by Jeff Patterson from Rink Wide in Vancouver, also from Canucks Army. And Jeff, the Canucks, I think, really for the first time in the series, dominated the majority of the game. They were clearly the better team for the final 40 minutes in Game 5.
Yeah, Gregor, good to be back on with you. That second period was probably as good as they have looked in these playoffs, including the Nashville series. They got things going and were able to tilt the ice in that second period. And in a lot of ways, maybe a surprise that they didn't get out of the second with a lead. Give Calvin Pickard credit. Made some key stops. Once the Canucks tied it at 2, it just sort of felt like that momentum was going to carry them. And ultimately, it took them until the final minute to get the game winner. But yeah, I mean, look, Rick Tocchet had some pressure on him. Chris Knobloch had made his decisions ahead of Game 4. They worked out for the Oilers, and that's what I love about playoff hockey is the adjustments in game, but between games as well. Tocchet challenged his players, called some guys passengers, made 4 lineup changes, and he got the response that he was looking for. And I think that response sort of played itself out in that second period last night.
Yeah, I really think Tocchet's post-game presser from Game 4 probably included how they played in Game 3, but they won. So as a wise coach, you never rip on your team after a win, because that's when they got outshot heavily, and then they lost Game 4. And so, you know, he didn't mince his words at all. But that, you know, JT Miller texted him himself to say, hey, I wasn't good enough. And then, you know, he put Pedersen on a different line, and that seemed to ignite him a little bit. You know, the new line combinations came in. Phil DiGiuseppe comes back in after, you know, we learned was, you know, a very tough pregnancy for his wife. And, you know, it sounds like a pretty scary situation with their son. And it turns out all right. And, you know, just that emotion, Jeff, you know, that team. And for people I talk to, they say he's a pretty popular guy around the room. I could just see how the fact that he scores is one thing, but just coming back and playing after stuff like that, like, it's hard not to see that add a little extra motivation for a group.
Yeah, without a doubt. DiGiuseppe's a likable guy. I think well respected by his teammates. This is a guy, Jason, that made the Canucks out of training camp. Like, he absolutely had one of those preseasons and camps that they just couldn't say no to him. But there were also all sorts of questions at the outset of the season that, you know, if Phil DiGiuseppe is playing in the Canucks top 6, like, good for him, not necessarily good for the hockey club. And sure enough, it didn't last long. He started on a line with JT Miller and Brock Besser and was just expected to be a bang and crash, forechecking guy and turn some pucks, you know, over to those two and let them make things happen from there. But he couldn't hold up the offensive side of the bargain, so he slipped in the depth chart, was in and out of the lineup at times, and had been really ineffective in the playoff games that he had played. But the one thing that sort of keeps him in the mix is his penalty killing utility. And, you know, against the Oilers, certainly at the outset of the series, the Canucks had a game plan on how they hoped to slow down this Oiler power play. It didn't work so well for them in the first 4 games, but getting Phil DiGiuseppe back in there, again, that energy, I think, carried over to the power play, particularly in the first period when the Oilers had a lead and had an opportunity to extend it. And for the Canucks to come out of the night unscathed on the power play, you know, that was obviously one of the huge keys. So, yeah, I mean, I think sometimes just life circumstances, you know, these guys are all doing pretty well in their lives financially, but, you know, they're human beings at the end of the day. And I do think that sometimes, you know, some of those birth of a child, whatever the case, it's not just that player. Other guys can sort of feed off it. And I think that there was some of that last night for the Vancouver Canucks.
Jeff Patterson joins us. So now you get to game 6, and I could easily see it being a carbon copy of game 5, and the fact that now you've got an Edmonton team that's super desperate because they have to win, and everybody like Vancouver knows that they're going to tell themselves, hey, we got to match their emotion, we got to match their emotion, but you can't match something that you just don't have the same feeling for, right? Like, it's difficult. Doesn't mean you can't win. The Rangers just did it last night, but I think the like Edmonton's problem hasn't been starts, Jeff. It's been finishing, right? Like, you think of the 3 Vancouver wins, Edmonton had the lead in every game.
Yep. No, the Oilers have scored first in 4 of the 5 games. Like, statistically, that should matter, and yet here they are facing elimination, and the Vancouver Canucks are on the verge of advancing to the Western Conference Final, which, again, that sentence doesn't roll off the tip of the tongue lately. I can tell you, having covered this team, not just this year, but for years and years. So, yeah, opportunity knocking for the Vancouver Canucks, but they recognize the skill level that the Oilers have. And, if it's not McDavid, Draisaitl has been a horse through all of these games and all of the playoffs. And, Hyman, if he's playing through something, had a huge impact on game 1, but hasn't been heard from since. And then you got guys like Nuge and Evander Kane, I think, is starting to come on. He's been better here in the last couple of games than he had been earlier in the series. So the Canucks recognize that there are still all sorts of weapons, but through it all, the Canucks know who they are, and they know how they have to play to have success, and it's not always pretty, and the shot clock may not look terribly flattering for them, but they know how to defend, and they don't stray from the structure. And when I look at the fact that, they gave up 4 and were behind early in that first game and came all the way back, ended up giving up 4 in the second game, but since then, the Oilers have scored, 3, 3, and 2. So the Canucks have found a way with a third-string goaltender to limit the Oilers' offense, and we'll see if they can do it. If they can do it one more time, then I like their chances. The Canucks don't score a ton, but they also don't have to score a ton if they are able to prevent goals from going in to their own net. So the challenge is in front of them. They recognize that, but they won all 3 of their games in Nashville in the first round. They split in Edmonton. Like, I think the Canucks are coming back to Edmonton feeling pretty confident that it doesn't matter whether it's home or road. Their structure and their system travels pretty well. And they've already proven that in the playoffs, and they want to do it one more time here tomorrow night.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be fascinating in Edmonton. Anytime a team faces elimination, the building's going to be louder. The fans are smart in Canada; they know what's at stake. So it's it's great. This is how you build a rivalry. 7 games would be unreal. We said at the start of the series, like, if this goes 7 games, man, it's perfect. Obviously, it'll suck for the fan base and team that loses, but. The only way you really build a rivalry is having a series like this, and a competitive series. And I look at the penalty kill of Vancouver last night was very good, right? It's 1 game. Even the best power play in the league doesn't score every game. I think the Canucks will tell anybody that, hey, if we take that many penalties, we're not going to we're probably not going to be that successful overall on the penalty kill. But what about their power play? It's still. Like, they struggle with zone entries and stuff. Like, are you surprised at just kind of how anemic at times their power play has looked?
Yeah, particularly the double minor to Kane in game 4. Like, that was embarrassing. Like, and that was part of why JT Miller felt the need to text his coach and apologize, because so much of the power play flows through him. And, Quinn Hughes hasn't had a terribly dynamic series, and yet he's been able to manage to pick up some points. I thought there was purpose to their power play last night. I thought that they were able to set up and have some moments at the very least, but you're right, it didn't produce anything. And so it was a push last night, but the Canucks will take a push on the special teams any night against the Edmonton Oilers. But I did think that the power play looked better in game 5 than it had in game 4, but it kind of feels like as this thing gets deeper that, somewhere along the line, they're going to need a power play and a power play goal. And against Nashville in the opening round, they scored twice, but they came in the same game. So, a 6-game series, there were 5 games of nothing on the power play. But we've seen that really since the All-Star break, that, early first 30 games of the season, the power play was terrific. The component parts are there. Oiler fans know the names and the skill level that the Canucks possess. But for whatever reason, after the All-Star break, power play really started to sputter, and that has carried over here into the playoffs. So, we'll see if it gets to a moment here where either one of these sides absolutely has to have a power play goal. The games have been so tight into the third period, winning goal in the final minute of regulation, the last 2, and an overtime win in the second game of the series. So, these things are going right down to the wire. But I'm with you. Like, this series, I think, has provided what we were all looking for. There's been some bad blood, a suspension, there's been drama, there's been, goaltending decisions, all that kind of stuff, and two rabid Canadian fan bases that have been at each other. Like, this is what you want in the second round of the playoffs. It's been fantastic, and, quite clearly, this thing could absolutely go the distance.
No, 100%. What do you make of the, obviously you'll be watching the other series now, because obviously one of Edmonton or Vancouver is going to take on Colorado or Dallas. What do you make of that series?
Yeah, I would give Colorado a little credit. I kind of thought they might go quietly into the night there, but they didn't. And I suppose any team with Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar, you probably not best to bet against them, but they still got their work cut out for them. I liked the Dallas Stars. I liked them all season, just the way that they spread their offense and the depth that they've got, and their goaltending as well. So I still think the Stars will prevail, but, again, they probably want to get it done rather than taking it to a seventh game here. So let's see how things play out. But, it looked like they were set up to take care of business in 5 and then put their feet up and rest and relax and heal up, because they've got a few injuries now as well. So a missed opportunity for them the other night, and we'll see if they get it right here in game number 6.
Jeff, it should be a hell of a game tomorrow, and it's a little bit of an early one, so it'll be a party time in both markets for sure.
Well, I booked my flight like moments ago, so if you wouldn't mind just swinging by the airport and picking me up, that would be appreciated.
What time are you landing? 4 o'clock?
I think I'm on an 8 a.m. flight out of Vancouver,
okay. You got
so
lots
getting
of
around.
time. Lots of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't get too. If it gets delayed, don't pull a Scheffler. All right.
Yeah, no, don't want any part of that. Well, I wouldn't mind the 6 under 66 part of it, but it's the other part, not so much.
Yeah. There you go. Awesome.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow night.
There you go. That is Jeff Patterson joining us from Vancouver, of course, from Rinkwide, as well as CanucksArmy.ca. The Oilers and the Canucks tomorrow. You know what? I would say the text line split pretty 50-50. Some very upset, concerned, thinking the series is over. Others are like, hey, let's pump the brakes. I think the Oilers can still win. Like, I'll say this. I think most people believe like game 7 seems plausible. Now, winning game 7 is very different. But I would be surprised if the Oilers lost game 6. Doesn't mean they won't. I just said I'd be surprised. Now, we get to game 7, that's a whole different animal. It's one game. Like, if anybody would have told you going into the game yesterday, based on how the previous 4 games had gone, would you have thought the Oilers would go 0 for 5 on the power play? It's really 0 for 4 because one was like 20 seconds, but still 0 for 5. And get absolutely crushed in shots and possession when through the first 4 games, they were the ones crushing them at 5-on-5. Shots, scoring chances, everything. Last night, we'll see. Was that a series turning game, or was it one where the Oilers took it on the chin and then found a way to recover in game 6 and 7? We're going to see. Because you know what? There's no more room for error. There's no more, you can't feel a game out. You can't, oh, well, geez, we played well but lost. That's all out the window. You play terrible and win, that's better than playing good and losing. That's just the truth about the playoffs. They just need to find a way, somehow, some way, to win the game. Win it 1-0, win it 8-7. Who cares? But they got to find a way to win. And then we get to a game 7. Obviously, there's never been a game 7 between the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. They've only ever met 2 other times. Oilers swept them 3 straight in a best of 5 in 86, and then beat them in 6 games in 1992. So the Oilers won that game 6 on the road. So they hope that doesn't repeat as far as the road team winning game 6 tomorrow night. Yes, it is a 6:20 puck drop. Take a quick break. We'll come back. And hey, I think everybody knows what's on the line tomorrow for the Oilers, but there are some errors that can be made. Also, some things that can be done to improve their chances of winning. We'll discuss it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready.
Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nuge.
That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah, well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply, financing available, book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit edmontonkubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Experience the future of car shopping at Windermere Chrysler. The floor-to-ceiling windows in our stunning new showroom bathe every sleek model in natural light. But that's not all. While you relax in our customer lounge, peek through the unique viewing window into the service area. Watch our expert team at work, ensuring your vehicle is in top form. Plus, every service appointment includes a complimentary tire and wheel alignment analysis and a full car wash and vacuum.
The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermerecdjr.ca.
2:45, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having yourselves a lovely Friday afternoon. Get set. Hey, you got the kids, maybe, everybody. It's a 6:20 start tomorrow night, so should be lots of fun. House parties. Maybe you're going to OTR to watch the game. Maybe you're going to the game. Maybe go to the Moss Pit. Should be good. Hey, boys, that was Vancouver's best game and Edmonton's worst. I'm definitely still confident. Hope the top players will be better. From Ranger Nick. Probably some truth to that. I think it definitely was Vancouver's best game of the series and Edmonton's worst for sure. Now the question is, they got to bounce back. You got to recover. And that's what makes the playoffs so exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time, I would think, for fans. Like, oof, it is quite the roller coaster of emotions. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League, designed to elevate female youth hockey. The FSL will provide a platform for 12U and 14U players to develop and improve their skills. That's your daughter. Go to femalesuperleague.com and learn more, as we are joined by gold medalist in the Olympics. She's also a mental coach. We have Lorianne Munzer joining us. So I want to. I don't think I introduced that correctly. Mental coach. That doesn't necessarily sound great, does it?
Can we do take two?
Yeah. What's the actual? What would be the proper terminology for that?
I like the word peak performance beforehand.
Sure.
And mindset coach.
Mindset.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, mindset. That's a little bit better. Mindset. You know what? The athletes, they work, they train, whatever. The Oilers have been in this situation before the last 2 years, trailing going into game 6. They won against LA, then won in game 7. Last year, they lost against Vegas. So, you take those experiences, you try to use it, but every year is different, right? How quickly do you just erase that game as an athlete? Like, you just kind of wipe the slate. And how do athletes move on from losses or even big wins to not have it carry over to the next game or the next race?
Number one, if you need to brood about it, do whatever you need, but midnight, Jason, boom. Like
before you go to bed?
No, midnight. Because
Okay.
I don't know if these guys go to bed after midnight or before midnight.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. 12 o'clock midnight, clock strikes 12, done. Time to get on with it.
So
Figure out-
what do you do though to say, okay, like, oh my God, I did this, and then it's midnight, and then you just say, okay, now you start thinking about what I need to do for the next game?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So everybody's going to do the expenditure of what to do differently. And that's cool. But you also have to know what works for you versus I don't know what to do. So you figure it out. And then it's getting into the mindset of what can we do and what can I do to contribute to the team? Because it's the we factor going on. It's not the I. It's not individual. You're part of the team. You're either going to bring the team up or the opposite.
Right.
And it's always, we can talk about what's going wrong, what's not working. And that's how we're more conditioned. And it's like, no, forget that. You guys have a job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you let a win carry over to the next game, you're usually not as sharp as you should be. And then if you carry a loss and you're ER and you're worrying about it, well, now you've lost before the game's even started. So I don't expect that. But in the moment of the Oilers are now for the first time in a must-win game, right? And that is different feeling, whether you tell yourself it's just another game or this is just another race, right? When you're lining up on the start line, you know that, okay, this is, if I don't win, I don't have a chance at a gold medal anymore, right? I got to win that,
You're
right?
done. Game over.
So it is, we're human beings, you're aware of it, but how do you make sure you're aware of it, but then not tense up? Because when athletes tense up, you don't play, you don't perform as well. So how do you find that balance? How do you help athletes learn that it's okay to know the situation, but then not let the situation impact your performance?
Well, number one, you got to make a decision on what are you going to do. So I always say there's probably 5 or 6 things. And number one is change not. Do not change anything out of the ordinary of what you do. Go back to the basics and focus on that. Do those things and only those things. Number 2 is you got to focus on your job at hand, right? You got to figure out, okay, what is the mental preparation that I need to do before I lace up my skates, before I get on the ice, when I'm on the ice, and then when you're exiting the ice, if it's in practice, because you've got to have that mental preparation, that mental focus, because otherwise then you're done.
Right.
I'm so glad you said don't, tense up, because it's either flow or force. And if you're going with the force, Luke, you're done. Right? It's not going to happen. So how do you find that zone,
The
right?
flow, I like that flow over force. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, but then you have to add in Luke, right? Otherwise, it's
Mhm,
not
it's
fun.
true.
But you've got to find that, and I'll call it like the neutral zone. Like if you're shifting from first to second in a standard, if you can't find those gears, you grind them. So it's that point of being in neutral so that you can go anywhere, you can be anywhere, you can receive the puck, you can put it in the net, and it's effortless. You watch the athletes on the ice and you know who's in the zone and you know who is not in the zone. And there's an energy around it. So the question is as the athlete, as a player, can you get into that zone as quick as possible? Whether things are going right and that the energy's going like crazy, the crowd's going wild. Can you shut them out and get into your zone? So it's always finding that sweet spot. And it's the hardest thing to do. You'll do it once and you'll try and do it again. It's like, no, man, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And what can you do? The other thing is focus on the plan. You got to focus on the plan. Coach Chris, he's going to be able to say, hey, do this, don't do that, focus on this, keep the focus on that. But then it's up to each individual player. Do you know what your role is? Do you know what your job is? Do you know what your position is? Are you playing those positions? And you have to go out 100%. If you want to say 110%, go for it. Because if you're going for 110%, I'm going to tell you you're going to hit 100%. If you're playing at 80 and you're going, yeah, 80% is good enough, it's not good enough. Not now. It's do or die. You do not have a choice.
What about trying too much? How do you find that balance?
Well, that's part of the force or flow. Because when you're trying too hard, Jason, you're going into that force. I'm trying to make it happen. It's like putting the round peg in a square hole. It's never going to happen. And you're going to do more damage. You're going to do detriment to the team. You're going to have the crappiest plays. I was going to say something else. But when you try too hard, that's the force. And it's like the hardest thing to do is let go. Like, seriously, let go. If you're gripping the stick, don't grip it as hard. If you're trying to power the skate, relax, flow into it. You'll bounce off of the other player, you'll bounce off the board, and it'll actually put you into the position where you want to go. But the hardest thing is to let go or surrender, is give in. And it's like you're playing tug of war with the dog. The dog's got the rope, you've got the rope, and you're pulling. You're like, man, I'm powerful more than you. And the dog's going, not a chance. You let go of the rope, and the dog goes, well, what are you doing? And the dog keeps coming back to you. And everything starts coming back. So the other thing is decision time. Are you coming to the table hungry? And I think a lot of times people don't come to the table hungry. I don't think some of the players are all in.
They think they're hungry.
Yep.
Right? Like, how do you know the difference between, well, I think I'm hungry and I'm ready, I'm hungry.
Show me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
Show me. Right? The biggest question every athlete needs to ask themselves the day before, the day of, an hour before, what do you need?
That's it.
What do you need?
Yeah, like obviously you need nutrition, you need a nap, right? I look at the orders, and every player has a different role, right? The penalty killers obviously have to know what their role is on the penalty kill. Obviously, the fourth line players aren't necessarily going to be doing the same thing the first line players are doing 5-on-5 defense.
But the results is the same.
Yes.
And it's all about execution. And it's like, are you in or are you out? And if you're in, then show us.
Like, what do you make of, so Evan Bouchard in the first 4 games was very good. Very sound. And then one moment in game 5. And the funny thing was, it wasn't like Bouchard lost a battle. It wasn't like he made a defensive read where, he did, because that's not necessarily his natural forte, right? He didn't misread the play. He has the puck on a stick, the thing that he's probably most confident in his game. And then he makes that play, right? To me, that's not even a defensive miscue. It's in the defensive zone, but it's a skill play, which that's his forte, right? So when you see a player do something like, is that just a lack of focus for a brief time?
You know what I really think it is? I think he's thinking too much.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So here's a perfect example. If you're reading a script, you're going through the motions, say in a certain play, a drill. If you're not thinking about it and you're going in the flow and you know what to do, you're going to go in the flow and you're going to go whatever your automatic is, whether it was good or bad. When you start thinking about it, you're going to have a brain fart. And it's going to be like, ugh. And all you need is 1/1000th of a second.
And thinking could be where he's thinking, oh, I'm going to pass to this guy rather than control the puck and get it past their attacking guy first.
He's thinking, which puts him into force in the moment instead of being in flow, instead of being in the zone and just being in the moment. And it's like, Eckhart Tolle talks about the meditation is being in the now. As athletes, you have to be in the now. Like we're watching Summer McIntosh with the Olympic swimming trials in Toronto. She just broke another record. And I can tell you, she's not thinking about what she's doing. She's in it. She's going through it. She's just doing what she does. And as soon as you think, if you're reading a script, you stutter, you screw up the words. In sports, if you start thinking as you're going into a move, you're going to disrupt the move.
Oh, okay. Lorianne Munzer joins us. The pressure of it, and you've dealt with that pressure. Give me an example of when the pressure was too much for you and you didn't handle it. What happened?
Oh, Cali, Columbia. Oh my gosh, crazy racing. Early in the season, May, and I was in force.
And did you know right away, after the race? Or how could you tell that you were in it, but you couldn't get out of it?
Because I hadn't done the training physically. I hadn't mentally prepared for it. And I
Okay.
was in the moment. I was trying to power through turning the pedals. Like you're on a bike that has one gear, no brakes. And I was in my head too much, trying to make the event happen to get me to the finish line. And I just got beat. And it was a no-brainer. It's something that.
So was it easier then, because it seemed like it was kind of obvious to you that it was easy to learn from that? Or was it still hard to learn that, man, I wasn't able, I didn't handle the situation well?
It's always tough no matter what. If I said it was easy, I'd be lying. It's tough because I got crushed and it was like, ugh, I'm not going into the next round. Eliminated, done. You go into the washrooms, boo-hoo, cry your eyes out, do whatever you need to do. And it's just like, let it go, release it. And sometimes when you're trying so hard, you're not in the right zone. You're just trying too hard. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. And you know that feeling, Jason. And it's like, the thing I should have done was totally surrender, just let go and go, you know what? I'm just going to go play. I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to give it my best and do what I can in my control instead of trying to make it bigger than it is.
But that seems very easier said than done in that moment, especially for a highly tuned kind of like alpha athletes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the practice. But you know what? You're going to learn more when you race or competition or NHL playoff game time than you do in practice.
Yes.
Because practice it's a more controlled environment.
Mm-hmm.
Racing, you have no idea what's going to happen. Playtime, boom. Like the puck is dropped, boom. Anything can go. You can get hit from the back. You can hit from the side. You can get a stick. You can trip, whatever. Like there's so many variables that there's no way you can recreate them all and have it come sideways and catch you off guard. But that's where the mental preparation, watching the tapes going, okay, can I put myself into Bouchard's situation? Because he may be faced with that again.
Right.
But now he knows what not to do.
Yeah. And we have some text saying, shouldn't they know that by now, having played 50 playoff games?
Nope.
Why?
The mental part or the thinking part? I'm thinking the thinking part. No,
Yeah.
most people don't know that because they never thought about it. So think about it.
But even if you've thought about it, doesn't mean you can execute at that time, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So how many times have you done the replay in your head to course correct? How many times? One time, 2 times, 3 times? You may need to do it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Can you do it forwards? Can you do it backwards? Can you stop it? Can you come back a bit and then go forward and redo it? The more times you can do it in your head, Jason, you're creating that new neural pathway. It's like you're creating a new record.
Oh, okay.
We're playing 33, what was it, 33 and a quarter,
Yeah.
then 45s.
Right.
And you're creating that new route so that it becomes automatic so that you don't have to think.
Well, Ariane, as always, great stuff. We appreciate it. We will chat with you next week. The Oilers will either have been moved on to the third round or will have come to a disappointing end to their season, which will have them wondering what the, you know what. So we'll see.
What the puck.
Yeah.
Have
there
a
you
good
go.
weekend.
Thanks, Lori. That's Lori and Munzer. Let's get to Connor Halley in a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. We can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate and an additional $1,200 savings for Costco members on select trucks only at your Alberta GMC dealers.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2 games on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs at 5 o'clock. You got the Bruins taking on the Panthers. Florida leads that series 3-2. Then just after 8 o'clock, the Stars in Denver taking on the Avs. Dallas with a chance to wrap up that series. In the association, Knicks and Pacers meeting in Indiana. Tip-off 6:30. Pacers trail that series 3-2. Major League Baseball schedule. The Jays in action tonight, hosting the Rays. First pitch set for 5:07. Those two teams meeting tomorrow just after 1. Then Sunday at 11:30. You can hear both of those games right here on Sports 1440. Right now, the Pirates lead the Cubbies 9-3. Heading into the 9th, BCHL Alberta Division Final. Sherwood Park taking on Brooks. The Bandits lead that series 2-0 on puck drop just after 7 o'clock. PWHL playoffs, it's Game 5. Toronto and Minnesota. Series tied at 2 apiece. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock there. You got 2 games in the WNBA. Sun Mystics at 5:30. Then at 7:30, the Storm take on the Lynx. PGA Championship right now. Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 11 under par. Scotty Scheffler, Thomas Dietrich, and Mark Hubbard all in second position. As for the Canadians, right now, Adam Hadwin 3 under, Corey Connors -2. Adam Svensson is 1 under par, which is looking like will be the cut. Nick Taylor, Taylor Pencheth both 1 over, Mackenzie Hughes 2 over. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by our co-host and former NHLer, Sean Brown. Also, we will preview tonight's match between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars with Arif Dean of Mile High Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit FemaleSuperLeague.com.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes,
For having my goals disallowed.
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice. Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Because it never. Because it.
Oh. Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy.
Never. Because it never.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving away. With savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports, we really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we were giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The crackle of a morning campfire, the collapsing of the tent, the packing of the car, the gravel under your tires, the quiet of an empty campsite, the gust of wind, the scattering of embers, the roar of a wildfire, the feeling of overwhelming regret. 67% of Alberta's wildfires were started by people. Don't be that person. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Steve and Haley, who own Blue Jay Storage in Camrose. Their company offers secure self-storage options ranging from closet-sized units to RV parking pads. To make things convenient for customers, Blue Jay's gates are open 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. Way to get down to business, you two. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Puck.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Just after 3 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back. It's Positive Friday on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, if you need a little positivity in your life and you're thinking, you know what, I'm due. I've been a diehard loyal fan, getting my heart stomped on. Well, guess what? Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max, $65 million. Maybe you're feeling lucky. Hey, there's a 6 in there. Maybe it's a good omen for you. We'll see. If you believe the Oilers can win Game 6, well, they have to get to Game 7. Did it 2 years ago against LA. Then last year were unable to defeat Vegas when they were trailing 3-2. Now, remember that Game 6? Vegas scored, I think, 33 seconds in when Matthias Ekholm inexplicably just shot the puck right in the lower slot. Boom! It was 1-0. So the one thing that I was accurate on yesterday was that there would be a power play in the first 3 minutes of the game. The Oilers have had 3 power plays in the first 4 minutes. The Canucks have had 2, 1 in each game. So now, that goalie interference call probably benefited the Oilers. But what's funny, you talk to a lot of players. They don't love having the power play that early if you haven't even had a shift. But nonetheless, it just was kind of a foreshadowing for the Oilers power play evening. It was a rare night off for the Oilers power play. If there's one element of their game that I would be most confident would bounce back, it would be the power play, considering they've been the best in the NHL for 5 years. One game, I don't think it means Vancouver has solved them. It was one game. 833-401-1440 is the text line number in our eWell inbox. It's the Gregor Show, live on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As we welcome to the show, former NHLer, first-round draft pick, he's a coach and GM in junior hockey. Now he's a big fan of sweaters and shoes. Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. Always good to be here.
You're mocking me again on my sweatshirt here.
I just said you're a big fan of sweaters. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
Now is the Padres, is Padres your team, or is that just a hat you like?
I go with just what I like.
What do you like? All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just like the brown. But you know what? I bought this the last time we went to Vegas. I bought this sweater or sweatshirt in the Aria.
I would call that a hoodie.
Okay, hoodie. Whatever. Yeah. And the Arias are my wife and I. That's our favorite place to stay. And go. Like I love going to Vegas. And anyway,
do you gamble?
No, I just like to go and
like to go to shows.
Yeah, we go to shows. My wife. We like nice restaurants, food, and stuff like that, and just kind of walk.
What's your
around.
favorite show you've seen in Vegas?
I don't know. The Michael Jackson ones. I've seen that twice. Just
the Michael Jackson one.
Yeah.
Well, there's like an impersonator, or what is it? Is it like about his life?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit about his life. So my wife and I went once, and then the next time when we went with the kids. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so
you must have seen a Cirque du Soleil show.
Yeah, I just can't think of.
I saw the water one. It was unbelievable. I was like, their athleticism and strength and some of the stuff they do, man, it's mine. And their body control is crazy.
It is. There isn't a show or anything that's not unbelievable there.
Yeah.
Right. It's just the entertainment is off the charts. It's actually kind of funny. This is kind of stupid, but there's a homeless guy. There's like a CVS. When we're walking, I'll always go into a CVS and like grab a beer or something like that. And just as I'm walking, just always having a casual drink. But there's always seems to be this homeless guy that's in around that area. And man, can he sing.
Really? So is he a busker?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's unbelievable. And every time we go there, I seem to find him and always have a few drinks and watch this guy. It's like, well, I mean, I obviously put a little bit of money in there, but he's just as entertaining as any other show that I've been to. But,
really? Okay.
Yeah. So
what street corner is he on? Anybody's going to Vegas?
Right over the CVS is kind of.
What is CVS? Like,
isn't that like kind of?
I don't know, dude. I'm not a huge, I've been to Vegas a few times, but I don't really.
It's kind of like a Shoppers or whatever, but down there you can buy.
Yeah, I know you can. I know you're allowed to walk on the street.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of, I've done it.
So the CVS busker, Brownie says, top-notch show, and very cheap, very cheap. Cost you $5.
Exactly.
Right.
But listen, this hoodie once smelled like the Aria, and I haven't washed it since because I like to smell it. Like everyone, like. Honestly, I grabbed it this morning and I'm like, I give it a little bit of a smell. There's still a hint of it because every hotel has a unique scent, right? And if anyone's been to I'm telling you, anyone that's been to the RA, they have their own scent.
Okay.
And so
Treasure Island, I used to love it. Same
you
sort of
know
thing.
what I'm talking about?
I go for a walk just to go smell the TI.
There you go. Thank you. Yes. So there's
there's bloodhounds over here now.
Come over here.
Jeez. What a bunch of jabronis.
So it's fading. I'm gonna have to wash it one of these soon.
Which one did you say, Cons? Treasure Island?
Yeah, Treasure Island.
Is that the one that's a little far off the strip's got the low ceilings?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because I went there once. I stayed at one of the older places and it just reeked like smoke. I'm like, God, this is the worst.
All those older, like I found.
I can't remember the name of it, but I tried to block it out.
Isn't it down by the Wind down there?
Yeah. We're just past Mirage, which is shutting down at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I want to get your thoughts on Vancouver dominated the final 4 minutes of that game, maybe even final 45. When the Oilers went up 2-1, Janmark to score a huge goal, and you're thinking, hey, this could be Edmonton's night now. But they give it like Bouchard, for as good as he was in the first 4 games. He makes a mistake, not on a defensive read or a battle. He makes a mistake where he's handling the puck, which is, if there's one area where I'm like, well, I'm not expecting him to make a mistake there, that's where it would be.
Yeah, I mean, wow, just the flow of the games and the highs and the lows. And yeah, I mean, it was, what can you say? It was a mistake. It's 9 times out of 10, I would say that's not the mistake he normally makes. If you look at the game winning goal there, those are the mistakes that, or those are the situations that it doesn't matter whether it's him or any defenseman. When you're making those type of decisions, and you could see him and Nurse kind of, it unfolded so quickly, right? With the transition, and then, Nurse coming off the bench, who takes who. Obviously, now all of a sudden it gives, the Vancouver player a little bit of time. He gets the puck on net. Those type of decisions are usually the areas where where he usually, those are more challenging. But yeah, anything to do with him with the puck.
You think Bouchard, like what error did Bouchard make on the game-winning goal?
I don't know if it was necessarily an error, but it was just I think it was the perfect storm.
Like the change. So Ekholm, that was a kind of a sloppy change, right? So Ekholm goes off. Well, I think Ekholm assumed that Hyman wasn't just going to throw the puck away.
100%.
Right? So that's where it starts. So because I think people forget sometimes the game is so fast. When you have an NHL player and your teammate, when he has control of the puck, you don't expect him to just grenade it and throw it away. You just don't, right? So then you're like, okay, now I can change because we have control.
Yeah.
And so then he goes off. And now Nurse has to scramble to get on.
Yeah.
And when he jumped on, in a perfect utopian world, when you have lots of time to think about it, would Bouchard have been the guy that goes to his guy on the boards, and Nurse would have went to Pettersson in an ideal world, or is that?
I think if you were to slow down the video and watch it, I would say that in the perfect world, I would say that Bouch would probably take the guy with the puck.
Okay.
Right. There would be, but this is
because of the change.
Because of the change and just the way the goal, the play presented itself. But I mean, we're watching it on video. But yeah, I would just, those are the type of reads that I would say Bouch, and where most players, if there's a breakdown, you're going to struggle in those read situations. But, I think if they were to do it again, or the reads would be quicker, or, Bouch would probably take him, which would eliminate his time a little bit. And the way that Nurse came off the bench, he's already pretty much in good defensive positioning. But there was a little bit of indecision on who goes and when you go. And I think that, that's what the game is right now. I mean, player, it's all about taking away time and space quickly and making guys make decisions. And, there's just, you can see with just a little bit of time, it's never a bad idea to throw pucks on that. And, you get a bunch of guys caught in between, and next thing you know, the game's over.
And this just coming down, a big shout out to the pride of Calahoo, Craig Berube, is the 32nd head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So
that's a great hire.
Chief, his nickname is. It's got the statue outside the rink. Have you seen his statue outside the Calahoo rink?
No.
Oh, it's in honor of him. So it's not really like. I'll show you a picture of it at the break, but good for him. Not a huge surprise. It's been talked about for a while that he was going to go there. So there's one vacancy filled with him and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But we'll go back to the, I kind of brought that up from coaching. So we saw Rick Tocchet kind of tear a strip off his team after game 4. I think it was a culmination of how bad they played in game 3, but they won. So he kind of saved it. And then he was frustrated. JT Miller, Texas' own coach, didn't like his performance, obviously bounced back with a better one. Now, Knobloch's different. Just because Rick Tocchet doesn't mean that Knobloch has to do it, and definitely wouldn't do it publicly. That's not really his thing, right? Everybody has a different way they go about it. But do you think Knobloch should consider injecting a player into the lineup, a forward? Would you consider Carrick? Henrique, if he's healthy, I think is a no-brainer. I don't know how healthy he is or not, but would you? And if you did put in a forward, is there one you'd take out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess getting back to Tocchet, everyone has their unique style, and although he did call guys out, none of us know what type of relationship he has behind the scenes. He seems like an unbelievable person, would be an unbelievable coach as far as accountability. And I think because of everything that he does or did in his career, when he speaks, guys are definitely listening. As far as taking guys out of the lineup, we've talked about it last week. I mean, Carrick to me is a guy that, can skate, can get in on the forecheck, and you can see what Vancouver's doing to the Edmonton Oilers on their forecheck, right? They're turning pucks over. They're putting guys in tough situations to make tough plays. And he's a guy that has the ability to do that. He has the physicality. Obviously the way the fourth line played yesterday, I mean, I think they bought themselves another opportunity to play again. And I think that if anyone's looking on the outside right now, it might be Perry. If you look at the lack of minutes that he's playing, I think you could probably take out Perry and put in Carrick.
Yeah, or Henrique. Obviously, I think if he's healthy, that'd be the first guy they would bring in.
Yeah,
because Perry only played 7 minutes last game. Doesn't have a point in the playoffs, and I get all of the be a veteran leader. You can still be a veteran leader before the game. if you need to. Heck, if you want to come in there at intermission, and if you want to speak up, then still listen. Just because you're not dressed in the game doesn't mean they're suddenly going to be like, well, now I can't listen to the guy with 205 NHL games.
And he's a guy that, if you were to take out with his experience, I mean, he is brought in here more or less as an insurance policy. So yeah, I mean, it's not gonna make or break his mental game or where he's at. I think he's played enough and done enough that he can handle these situations. But I think with you look at the trouble that the Vancouver, they're a fast team. They forecheck, they get on pressure quick. That's tough for any type of defenseman. And I just think, if you can get a guy that skates like Carrick getting in there with a good stick and has that physicality, I think he can only help you. I think he could probably play the same situation. But yeah, Henrique, if he's available, he's obviously the first guy that's going to come in there.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440. Coming up, we're going to talk more about the playoffs. Hey, the Oilers, I know the series isn't over. It was a brutal game, but the series is far from over. You know what? Could easily be talking Monday about a Game 7. In fact, I won't be surprised. Now, Game 7 is a total crapshoot. We all know that. And who knows what happens. But the Oilers, if they lose tomorrow on home ice, that would be awful. Because, I don't believe that Vancouver is they're not Vegas. Right? They're a good team. But they're not Vegas. Right? They're not Colorado of 2022. You lose Game 6 on home ice to them, that's not a good look. So I would expect a much better effort from the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. We'll talk about who they might meet, who somebody in the Pacific, Vancouver or Edmonton, will meet in the next round, because Colorado and the Oilers are in the exact same position, only 24 hours apart. Talk about it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at PlayAlberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Ennio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Except when they talk hockey. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhauk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Hey, Leduc, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Building a bungalow used to be an ideal retirement plan, but they can be expensive and an inefficient use of valuable land. Ram Elevators and Lifts offers a better solution. Stay in the home and neighborhood you love, or build up. A second story or rooftop patio are completely accessible with a Ram elevator. Ram offers a renovation-ready product that requires minimal space and no elevator pit or separate machine room. Make your home your forever home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Visit TrustRam.com.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our next-gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes delivery.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Positive Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you. Thanks as always for joining us on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca. Oilers, Canucks. Oilers will be landing. Well, they've actually probably already landed in their home. They stay overnight. They don't fly back after the games from Vancouver. Vancouver did fly home after their game 4, so every team does it a little bit different. But the Oilers stayed overnight. Then they had a media availability this morning at 9:30 Vancouver time. So probably flew out around 11 o'clock Vancouver time, noon. So, yeah, they would have been landed and all back. And now they get set for a must-win game tomorrow night. But tonight, maybe they'll watch, maybe they won't. 2 teams, Boston and Colorado, both in must-win situations as we go in the room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider. And I just want to say a big shout out to all of their customers who continue to trust and work with them. They say thank you from nextgentransportation.com. Arif Dean joins us from Mile High Sports. And Arif, the Avalanche, they were dominant at home all season long and really kind of laid an egg in games 3 and 4 on home ice, but then they bounced back with an electrifying effort in game 5. Like, if I had to bet, I just can't see I'm not saying they'll win tonight, but I just can't see them having as uninspired of a home effort as we saw in games 3 and 4.
Yeah, I would say especially game 4. The only problem with making a bet in the playoffs is you end up like, not literally I made a bet, but you end up like me having the same mentality last year going into game 7 against Seattle, thinking they can't possibly go 1-3 at home against the Kraken. And lo and behold, they lost game 7 and they did. So the big thing with this series, the 2 games at home, is game 3 was and if you had a chance to watch that game, it was very interesting. The Avalanche dominated, and I use air quotes on the word dominated. It's probably too strong a word. The first 40 minutes, they had way more opportunities to score. At one point when they had tied the game up, they were out shooting Dallas. I think it was like 22-9.
Yeah.
And it was 1-1, and they felt very confident in that performance. Then Dallas makes it 2-1 and completely parks the bus until they had 2 empty netters. Very close 1-goal game with a couple of empty netters. Game 4 is the one that I think for the first time in my career as a reporter, I'm willing to give a team a pass. Just because of the news of Val Nichushkin, how it broke and how that all kind of came to be that morning. Jared Bednar described their game after as they were frozen, and I think there couldn't be a better word to describe it. They looked very uninspired. They almost had to have a moment after that game where they kind of got together and said, we can't go out like this. We can't let this news kind of define us. And I wish there was an alternate universe where we could see how it would have played out had that not happened for Game 4. But all of that's to say, I agree with you. I just could not see the Avalanche coming out Game 6 at Ball Arena, where they have been so electric all season, and just kind of losing this the way they did in the last two they played here.
Arif, if you see them winning the next game or even possibly the series, is there anything that you've seen in the Avalanche as far as adjustments or individually to give you belief that they're going to win?
So what I saw in Game 5 was it did give me some confidence. The thing is, what I loved about that Game 5 performance is Dallas didn't look like a bad team. Dallas played well and had long stretches of the game where they played well, but the Avalanche's top guys took over. Like that's the one thing that gives me confidence in this is, the reality is you didn't really have Jonathan Drouin before. Now you do. So you remove Val from the lineup, you add Drouin to the lineup. He played 24 minutes and he's been, despite his reputation before this season, he's been a strong two-way forward. He's one of the Avalanche's better defensive forwards on most nights as well. So adding him into the lineup, kind of rejuvenating McKinnon, it gave them the ability to separate McKinnon and Rantanen. And now Rantanen is playing with Middlestat, who has goals in his last two games. I think what that game did in terms of confidence for people that are rooting for the Avalanche is it reminded you, one thing we know is Dallas is a deep team. We've been saying it all season. They have, 8 or 9 20-goal scorers and a lot of guys with 50 points. And 1 through 12 in terms of forwards, they might have the best depth. But if there's something the Avalanche can match them in, it's the talent at the top of the lineup. And in games 1 through 4, you didn't see the talent at the top of the lineup.
We'll have to try to get Arif cell phone a little bit better. It's in the mile high. So who knows? Maybe it cuts in. I'm just in a bad cell reception. So we'll try to get that sorted out. Come back. It is fair, I think, when you look at that situation, you have a teammate who takes the morning skate and then at noon, they clear out his locker and he's suspended for 6 months. Like, honestly, I've seen guys be suspended, but you knew he was going to get suspended because he had a hearing or it was being talked about, right? I think this one is different. And some guys are going to take it differently because they feel, well, he just let us down. And that's fair in a way, yes. But addiction it's hard to describe. There's lots of really strong, smart people that have been felled by addiction, right? And it's not, you don't rationalize. You're not just like, well, I'm going to stop. If it was that easy, anybody who is addicted to whatever it is, whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, whatever it is, name it, right? If it was that easy to quit, then there'd be no addicts, right? Like it's hard. And so I don't, I can understand because they did look like just kind of rattled. Also, John, Devon Taves wasn't playing either. So I think that factors into it. But I think that was a team that was just like, oh my goodness. Right. Because there's part of you probably that some of them are empathetic. You're just like, man, like who knows how bad it is for this guy.
They are humans. I mean, it is a brother, right? I mean, if you don't have, an addict, or if you don't have an issue, it's hard to understand what someone's actually going through. But I think the human side of it, I mean, and the fact that these guys all have relationships with him, probably his wife, and it would not be easy. And you could definitely see it in their game and how would it affect them. And I think it'd be tough to get over that. 100%.
It's true. Just so you know, every hotel there, they pump different scents through their HVAC units. So if you want to have a popcorn smell or an ocean smell, etc. So whatever it is, the smell that you and Connor really enjoy in Vegas, that's it. So that's maybe why you love your Aria smell.
No, I know. I've actually tried. There's another place where my wife and I stayed at. It was like, I forget the name of the hotel, but they had a scent too. And I tried to get it from them because I was going to surprise her for like
And they wouldn't give you this.
They wouldn't give me the set.
Oh, well, it's like this,
Yeah.
buddy. It's like this caramel secret, man. You
Yeah.
can't get it. It's not going to happen. Arif Dean joins us. He is back. We were just talking about how, the Nichushkin one, I think it's a very valid point. How, a guy takes a morning skate and, then all of a sudden he gets suspended for 6 months and they clean out his locker. And I'm sure some teammates view it as him letting us down. Others are probably more empathetic because addiction is obviously a very powerful thing that has, digs its claws into a lot of different people. I don't care what your occupation is. I don't care how much money you make. That doesn't make addiction any less worse. But what do you sense from the organization? Like, some people think, well, they're done. They'll never invite him back if he shows it. But guys relapsing, like, that's kind of a normal process for addicts. Like, it's not usually, I stop once and I'm good.
Yeah. So I think the Val situation, it's ultimately going to be one of those things where behind closed doors, there are conversations being had, and what is determined from those conversations in the sense of, like, how did this all unfold? Because what we learned over the last couple of weeks or over the last couple of days is when he, quote unquote, voluntarily entered the player assistance program in January, that wasn't actually the case. That was because he broke some kind of rule in his treatment from stage 1 of the PA program last year. So now he's in stage 3. Stage 3 means he broke a rule from stage 2. So like you said, it is a relapse, but not that I'm throwing out any accusations or any means, because I do not want to do that. But I think there are conversations that the Avalanche are going to have where, is this a player that is relapsing, or is this a player that is struggling to come to terms with needing help? Is this a player that's struggling to take the help? Is it a player refusing to take the help? Like, there's a lot of things around this that I just think we will never know. And I think what happens over the next 6 months is going to determine that, because Chris McFarland has put his head out. Like, he's put his reputation on the line for Val. He came out after the trade deadline and emphatically said, I believe in this man, and I think he's going to come out of this and he's going to be a whole new person. And what we saw in January and what we saw in Seattle is well past him. So if Val is going to come back into the lineup, if there's anything the Avalanche have to do, it's to make damn sure that this never happens again, for their reputation, their management's reputation. But alternatively, if over the next 6 months we see some kind of scenario play out where the Avalanche find some kind of a bylaw where they say that he's refusing treatment or not taking the treatment, if they go out of their way to try their hardest to get to Gary Bettman and to terminate this contract, and do it in one of those mysterious ways, similar to the way we kind of look back at Corey Perry and we don't entirely understand what happened there. If they go that route, that says to me that the conversations they had just don't give them any trust that this person is doing what they need to do over the next 6 months. So it's really hard to kind of navigate that. And that's all aside from the players in the room and how they would approach welcoming him back in. Ultimately, the guys in that room are good people. If Val truly did what he needed to do and the team gave him that support, when the emotions are not as high as they were on Monday, I genuinely believe the players would let him back in. It's just a matter of, how the scenario plays out over the next 180 days in terms of him receiving and willingly doing the treatment he needs.
Looking to the game tonight, Taves obviously came back in, and that helped them in game 5. Their best players were their best players. And, I think they rely on their best players a little bit more than they would have in 2022, just because they had, Shushkin was in the lineup, Landeskog, Kadri, right? They just had a deeper top end for sure. What do you see, or what do you hear from the Dallas side? Obviously, I don't think they loved how game 5 went because they kind of got dominated by Colorado's best players. What did the Avs maybe do different or better in game 5? And is it repeatable in game 6 to that level?
Yeah, it's absolutely repeatable. I think this is what I was talking about when my line started to cut off is while Dallas has the depth 1 through 12 at the forward unit, we've all talked about how many 20-goal scorers and 50-point scorers they have and just the amount of depth they have up and down that lineup. Where the Avalanche do have one up on them is the talent at the top of the lineup. And games 1 through 4, we didn't see Makar, McKinnon, even Rantanen, Lehkonen. We didn't see those guys take over, especially 29 and 8, McKinnon and Makar. We did see that in game 5. And I think the thing that makes it repeatable is twofold. Number one, Chris Tanev is like glue. He's glued to Nathan MacKinnon in this series. And in game 5, he finally was able to kind of get one up on Chris Tanev, and that's MacKinnon. And he was able to do that on the road where the Dallas Stars had the ability to have the line matching that they wanted, not at home.
Yeah.
The second thing that I think really helps the Avalanche is Rupe Hintz has done a really great job of being that two-way forward, that two-way centerman.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there in game 5. Yeah, he wasn't there in game 5. So now the kid who's been feasting on offense, the incredible talent, Wyatt Johnston, suddenly is seeing a lot of MacKinnon and Rantanen. And suddenly, even Pavelski's been seeing a lot of MacKinnon and Rantanen. He finally got his first goal of the series the other day. Suddenly these guys have to carry the load that they lost with Hintz being out of the lineup, and Hintz is not playing again today.
Yeah.
So I think those two things really, really play a big factor. Like if you look at 3 games ago compared to now, the Avalanche lost a huge talent in Val Nichushkin. I think he still leads the NHL in goals, tied with Hyman.
Yeah.
They lose Nichushkin, they add Drouin. On the Stars side, they've lost Hintz and replaced him with Faxa. So it's a little bit of a talent discrepancy. All bets are off. If the Avalanche force game 7 and Hintz is back in the lineup, that's going to be tough to handle. But right now, given the way MacKinnon and Makar played, the way MacKinnon was finally able to get one up on Tanev, and the absence of Hintz, and the very first thing we spoke about, coming back home, knowing you lost the first 2 games in Denver, it gives you a lot of promise if you're the Avalanche to, I don't want to say win the series yet, but at least force that game 7.
What could you tell us a little bit about Makar's game as far as like where's his ceiling? Like just we're getting to watch, a couple of really good defensemen as far as Evan Bouchard and what's the
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, like I love watching these guys play. I love the way they get up and down the ice. What can you say a little bit about Cale Makar?
He reminds me a lot of Nathan MacKinnon in the sense where every year he comes out and does something and you ask yourself, is this his ceiling? And then MacKinnon comes out the next year and puts up 140 points and scores 50 goals and does all these crazy things that he hadn't done before. So it kind of, I think there's another part to Cale's game. Funny enough, so Cale Makar goes out this year, scores 21 goals and puts up 90 points, like just mind-boggling numbers to even say it out loud and pretend like it's casually normal for a defenseman. And he does that, but funny enough, the Cale Makar we saw in 2022 and even last year in terms of the full, well-rounded
it was probably
game,
better.
I think were better. They
Yeah.
were better than this year. This year, the breakdowns with Makar and Taves were kind of not normal. I mean, a lot of the reason why Alexander Georgiev entered the playoffs, he had that tough last couple of weeks. You guys saw it. He played the Oilers, the Stars, the Jets, and got lit up in every one of those games. But aside from those last couple of weeks of the regular season, the reason why Georgiev was riding pretty much an 898, 899 save percentage the whole year is because the team defense in front of him was nowhere close to as good as a season ago when he was a 919.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with Cale Makar. Makar's had a really weird season, and I really hope this doesn't become the norm with him, where in November there was a game where after the first intermission, I had seen him, getting checked out in an x-ray room. And then when I asked him about it after the game, he ended up coming back in. He had left the first period a little bit early, and then he ended up coming back into the second period. And this is mid-November. And when I asked him about it one-on-one after the game, he told me he was just getting something checked out. And then it was something like, it's just been a little bit of an issue I've been dealing with since the second game of the season. And I just it's mid-November. We're at game 19. He's already playing hurt for 17 games. So it was something that eventually turned into like a little bit of a circus with him missing shifts, coming back in, kind of doing that thing where he leaves games and re-enters and, are you hurt? Are you hurt? Eventually, and I think it was in February or March, he deadpanned the camera and said, I haven't been playing hurt all year. What are you talking about? He said that to one of the reporters. So there's something going on there with Cale that we don't quite know what it is. And I'm curious what comes out if or when the Avalanche's season ends. But I think if he can be healthy, and it's crazy, he put up 90 points feeling like this whole year. But if he can truly have a full 82-game healthy season, which we've yet to see from him, I genuinely wonder what he could do as a well-rounded player and as somebody that can put up 100+ points.
Well, enjoy it. Hey, I know Oilers fans are hoping that Avs fans have the same reaction and result, a game 7, which would be back-to-back Sunday, Monday game 7s, which would be pretty good for the second round. We'll see what happens. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Jason, I got a quick question for you if you have about 30 seconds. Game 82 of the regular season, I was sitting in the press box, and in that entire row behind me, Evan Bouchard, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, you remember all the guys that they sat for that last game against the Avs, and it was 4-0 in the first 9 minutes.
Yes.
I remember seeing that game and thinking it was really strange to me that the Oilers didn't want to at least trust some of their guys to win this game, because in the scenario that there's an Avalanche Oilers Western Conference final, that game gave home ice advantage to Denver.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think Edmonton looked at it at that point and said the only time that would matter is like both teams would have had to win, right? And I talked to them and they felt like, not to downplay that, like they obviously were hoping they'd win, but they're like, they were playing 5 games in 7 nights down the stretch of the regular season. And they looked and said, you know what, if we get to the third round, we'll be happy and, we'll be confident we can win on the road rather than maybe play our guys here a game. And what if we lose anyway? And now our guys are more fatigued. I think it had to do more with, I think if Edmonton wasn't playing 5 games in 7 days, they probably would have played them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess so. Because that in this scenario right now, that's the only situation where the Avalanche could have home ice advantage for the rest of the postseason would be a series against Edmonton. So really curious how it plays out.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Arif. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. There's Arif Dean from Colorado. And the Oilers and the Avs, funny enough, both in the same spot. Both teams, and now I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure the Oilers and the Avs Avs had the best home record. Edmonton might have had the second best home record. So, you know what? They won't have Game 7 on home ice, but they'll have Game 6 and a must win. So we'll see if they can take advantage of it tonight and tomorrow, and then get us to a Monday Game 7s. We'll come back. We got lots and lots of texts to get to at 833-401-1440 in our inbox. When you think electrical, you should get to their new site, ewel.ca, their commerce site. It is going awesome. So if you need any electrical stuff there, check it out right now. You can shop by categories. You get to your own business account online. Open it up today and start saving at ewell.ca. The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds. Recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby, or Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and the used RV market is really heating up. That's good for us, of course, because we believe used RVs are better than new ones. But it's also good for you, because a packed lot at No Bull means you're more likely to find exactly what you're looking for in one visit.
But we offer so much more than finding the right one.
That's right, Bob. When you buy from No Bull, we walk you through every single component, every button, every switch. We confirm with you that everything works, what it's capable of, and how to get the most from it. We even show you the best way to hook it up to your truck. And if you ever have a question, even weeks later, we're still here and happy to help.
Try to get that kind of service when you buy from a random guy off the street.
Good point, Bob. We also offer easy payments. It's just another reason you'll get the perfect RV without all the...
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
.351, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. And if you missed it, Game 6 tomorrow will be a 6:20 puck drop. Only game on Saturday night, and it will be at 6:20. So no late game. And man, if Edmonton wins, woo, there'll be some fun people partying. I'll tell you that.
Like downtown will be
man, it will be good. Hey, boys, Nichushkin will look great in blue and orange. Reclamations are us from Nick. Well, I will say, if the Avs, you know what, do that, yes, somebody else would. Now, he would take a pay cut, right? It would probably be a 1-year deal, and some teams might only do one-year deal to start and kind of see where he's at. It was interesting listening to Arif, and we had lots of people text in. Guys, I can tell you, one of my best friends battled addiction for a long time. Listening to your guest explain how he doesn't think he has a problem. Is he willing to take it? Do they know? That explained my buddy. He always tried to deny that he actually had a problem until it was too late. So he goes, I wish I would have been more assertive to get him help. Well, Doug, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, my man, because it's the old, you can't, that's the thing. You can't force someone to get help. You can't, they have to want to go to rehab, right? Like you can encourage them, but you can't just check someone in, right? That's the challenge with it for sure. It is, addiction is ugly. You don't think rationally, right? We got guys. I don't know why a guy would be so selfish. Just wait until the playoffs are over. Yeah, but that's not how addiction works. Like if it was that easy, then we wouldn't have people addicted to things that they're addicted to, right? Like some people are addicted to their phone, right? Like ask some people to come out. You know what? You're not no phones at the table. What?
Ask a teenager.
Oh,
any teenager.
Yeah, but it's just be like, sorry, but just say, hey, guess what? No phones here. Yeah. Right? Like I know some people have rules, and they're just like, no phone after 9 p.m. Done.
Yeah.
Right. So you figure it out, but they get up. The first thing they do is it's not saying hi to mom or dad. It's like, oh, where's my phone? Right. Like, so it's a different type That one's not necessarily as harmful as drugs or alcohol or, whatever else your addiction is. So, but yeah, if it was just that easy, my man, I think everybody would do it. Hey, boys, I am dying just to see Colorado in the Oilers in the next round. For me, it's about revenge for 2 years ago. But more importantly, I want to see the world-class display of skill in McKinnon and Rantanen and McDavid and Bouchard and Makar, etc. It would be amazing from Stanley. It would be if they can both get through. But it will be difficult for sure. The Oilers, I think, have been the better team for long stretches of their series, but not the most composed team. They definitely yesterday weren't the best team. No one can say Vancouver wasn't deserving of that win yesterday, right? You can make an argument. Yeah, Edmonton could have won game 3 when they had all their shots, but they didn't. And that happens quite often in the playoffs, right? Look at when the Oilers beat the Dallas Stars, right? They probably shouldn't have, but they did. It happens. So you've got to find a way. I don't think Edmonton will be nervous because they've been here before, but I'm curious to see how heightened their level of urgency is, Brownie.
Well, just even like, what are the odds that they would have went 0 for 5 on the power play? I mean,
yeah, fair.
That alone,
yeah,
right. The one thing I'd like to say about McDavid that I just find amazing because, his ability, to enter the zone and skate pucks in, he just makes it look so easy. And you look at Vancouver,
and you watch other teams,
and
like on their
other
power
teams
play.
who have elite players, and Hughes is obviously elite. Patterson, and how hard it is for them to get in the zone. And McDavid, doesn't matter what you throw at him, he walks through it like a hot knife through butter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just incredible. But he does look like yesterday he was pretty quiet in that game. And I do wonder what the extent of whatever it is that's ailing him is, because if nothing is ailing him, then I give Vancouver a lot of credit. Although, like, because you're not seeing McDavid, like, he's got 1 point in 3 games. The last 3 games, he has 1 point. Every game is taking a chunk out of everyone, and especially guys that are playing that many minutes. Like, they're all banged up, they're all nicked up. But I'm really interested to see, like, because it wasn't his game, and just through past, they've had some success and they've had some failures throughout, their runs. Mm-hmm. And I just, to me, a motivated McDavid, I can't wait to see what he's capable of doing. And I think it's kind of a defining moment, really, in this game and his career. And he's obviously elite and he's a star, but can he really separate himself in this next game? I think he needs to have a game where he drags everybody into it.
Hey, boys, is Henrique close or not in the conversation from Cal? Well, he's skated the last few days, Cal, but with the minute they get to do the line rushes, he hasn't been a part of it, which tells me, yeah, he's close, but I don't know how close. I think obviously he re-aggravated the ankle when he played in game 2. Some will say that he rushed back because of it. We'll never 100% know, but ankles are finicky, man. When you have a sprained ankle, you can practice all you want, but you're not practicing as hard as what's going to happen in a game, right? And now all of a sudden the adrenaline's going brown. You get into a battle on the boards, man, and you don't even realize how stable your ankle normally is until you go into a battle and it's not stable, right? I'm sure you had that with your knee or whatever else, or your shoulder, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my, like, I can't move this guy.
Yeah.
Right. So, I wonder how much of that played into it for him. So I don't know if he's available, right? And if he is, how effective is he going to be? That's going to be the question.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think Carrick, if you were taking out Corey Perry, right, Carrick might be a better option at this point because he's fully healthy.
Yeah, and I think Henrique, if he has any value, just because of him being a pro and an elite athlete and knowing what this means, if he feels like he can help the team, he's going to be in the lineup.
Okay.
100%. I think that would probably be his decision, right? And I don't think any athlete would ever put himself in a situation where
You don't think so? Because your ego a little bit would tell you, hey, I know I can do it. Hey, they're going to if the doctor says, yeah, I think he's clear to play, sure. But if the doctor's like, I don't know, man, he might not last a period, would they do it?
Yeah, well, I agree. Sometimes you have to protect the athlete.
Yeah, 100%.
From
Because
himself.
they're all going to want to play.
You're gonna,
especially in this game.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one thing that was funny when I was injured, especially more obviously over in Europe when you don't get a chance to come back at 100%, right? You're lucky if you can get to 80. Anything above 80, you're going. But it was always funny every time I came to the rink. They're like, "How you doing? How you doing?" And I'm like, "Pretty good, pretty good." Pretty good means you can go. And I was like, you learn to be more honest about where you're at.
Yeah.
But
because you don't ever, it's a fine line because you don't, how you feeling? Not good. Like you
would never say that.
No, you don't want to say that because even if it's true, somebody's going to be like, well, this guy doesn't want to play. You can say, dude, I really want to play, but let's go through a test. Or I don't want to hurt the team. I think at the end of the day, guys, if you're being honest with yourself, you're like, hey, because I still know the members of the Eskimos, when John Avery said he was healthy to play in the 2002 Grey Cup.
Yeah.
In Edmonton, right? And then so they benched, was it Winston October? I think it was, right? To get him in. And he lasted like not even 2 quarters. Like his teammates were not happy.
Yeah. See, that is,
because that's where you're like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Because you'll say you're good.
Yeah.
And,
until you're not good.
Especially in that game, because that was and not to bring up old scars, because that was a punt-a-ram all the time. That was it was slippery and stuff. And Higgins refused to punt for a single, which is so dumb, and kept going for field position. But anyway, I know that decision bothered their teammates. So it's a fine line of knowing, and you have to look in the mirror and be like, can I help the team? Because if I can't play, I can't help the team.
Yeah. And I don't think any athlete, people don't understand how being in that environment, how much pressure there is, right? And how competitive guys are. Right. And how important it is to have good staff and people around you to kind of help make some of those calls, whether you're hurt, or even you look at Marchand in Boston there, right? I mean, I'm sure that he's just chomping at the bit to get in the lineup, but you got to make sure that you have, a staff and people that are around you to kind of help, make some of those decisions so that, they're, and they're going to look out for you long term. But I think they would assess the situation, right, and be like, how much long-term damage could this be?
Yeah, it's hard with the ankle to test unless you really get in that battle drill, right? That's the hard one because you're okay. You manipulate it here and there, but it's all of a sudden, you're in a game at high speed and there's 230-pound defenders bearing down on you, and you're like, well, I haven't really tested it to this level.
Yeah. Well, plus you're probably going to take something on top of what you're testing, but you're definitely taking something
to freeze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to Connor Halley. When we return, it is the draw. Somebody is going to win $15,000 solar package courtesy of Action Electrical. Here's the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire, where right now up until June 8th, stop in at Fountain Tire and gets a select set of 4 tires. You get $200 off, including Goodyear tires, only at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Craig Berube is back in Toronto as the Maple Leafs have hired him as their 32nd head coach in franchise history. He played 40 games for the organization back in the 91-92 season. He spent previous time as a head coach in the NHL with the Flyers and Bruins, winning a cup with St. Louis in 2019. On the ice tonight, 2 games on the schedule. We're about an hour away from puck drop out in Boston as the Bruins host the Panthers. Florida leads that series 3-2. Then tonight, just after 8 o'clock, the Dallas Stars trying to wrap up their series with the Avalanche when the 2 teams meet in Denver. In the association, you got the Knicks traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Pacers. That gets going at 6:30. Knicks lead that series 3-2. In the majors, the Blue Jays are in action tonight at home, kicking off a series with the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch set for 5:07. The 2 teams will meet over the weekend. 1:30 tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Sunday. Both games can be heard right here on Sports 1440 radio feed only. One final earlier today, the Cubs falling at home to the Pirates at 9-3. Later tonight, the Giants take on the Rockies. Tigers in the desert battling the Diamondbacks. Astros meet the Brewers. The Angels taking on the Rangers. Royals host the Athletics. And the Mets take on the Marlins. In the BCHL tonight, Alberta final. Brooks in Sherwood Park meeting in Brooks. The Bandits lead that series 2-9. Puck drop just after 7. PWHL Game 5. Loser go home. Toronto takes on Minnesota. That one about an hour away from puck drop. In the WNBA, you got the Mystics and the Sun meeting. Also, Lynx and Storm. PGA Championship right now. Xander Schauffele sitting atop the leaderboard at 12 under par. through 11. Colin Morikawa sitting at 11 under, and Scotty Scheffler 9 under par, along with Thomas Dutry and Mark Hubbard. The Canadians in the field, Adam Hadwin sitting 5 under, Corey Connors and Adam Svensson -1. Looks like they will make the cut. As for Canadians on the outside looking in, Nick Taylor and Taylor Pentrith both 1 over par, and Mackenzie Hughes 2 over. Tiger Woods right now sitting +8. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. The last 5 questions and have our winner for the Here Comes the Sun contest. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter does a TED Talk.
Thank you for coming today. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Pressure. Everyone in this room feels pressure. But let me tell you something about pressure. I'd rather feel too much pressure than not enough. You know why? Because low pressure often means you have corroded pipes, impaired water lines, or a calcified shower head. And who needs that? I'm Mr. Rooter, and this has been my TED Talk.
For an inspirational plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with
And
your
he
next
lasted
deposit. Get ready
like
for
not even.
unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of Lower Bowl or even exclusive suite tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
With Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
It's Positive Friday. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We, as always, appreciate you listening and watching the show, streaming it online as well at sports1440.ca, maybe listening on the app, wherever you're at. We appreciate it. It's always presented by playalberta.ca. Use the promo code this weekend. Hey, maybe feeling lucky. You've been waiting. Well, can't wait much longer. It's a must-win game for the Oilers. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 wager at playalberta.ca with a minimum purchase $5. So check it out, playalberta.ca. Now, we've been waiting on the biggest contest we've ever had on the show. It's Here Comes the Sun, courtesy of Action Electrical, where one of our 20 entries today, and see, we got a nice pink bowl for people watching online. You see all the entries in there. It's very nice. It's great. Very high class. It's quite the big chip bowl. Bore that from Struddy's house. Loves his chips. So everybody's name's in there. We'll mix it around in a second. But Andrew, Scott, Michael, Jason, Chris, Will, Jason L., Michaela, Aaron, Greg, Tim, Jana, Dana, Darren, Victor, Adam, Aaron, Gary, Jordan, and Mark are in the contest. We'll spin the wheel. We'll mix everything around here. Shh. Right, we'll mix it around. See who's naming. Brownie, you want to do a drum roll over there? Yeah, I see you doing it. Here we go. Oh. I'm not even going to read the name. I'll put it on the screen first. Is that upside down? No, it is not. But it is Michael Gagnon. I think it's Michael Gagnon. Congratulations. Now, there you go. That is a pretty big prize. We'll be in touch with Michael. And he, I think he said, well, we'll let Cons talk to him off air. We'll try to get him on air here, Cons. You got his number, I see, on that. So there's all the other ones in case anybody's wondering. So just, everything's legit here. Just want you to see all the other names. Like, I don't want to pull out another name because that would be like, oh, I was second. Well, being second here, it's like, guess what? You lose in 7, you're still second. But guess what? You lost. So congratulations, everyone, and a huge shout out to Action Electrical, to Blake and everyone there. If you're thinking solar, that's who you're going to want to contact because they will get it done. And you know what? They do lots in the community and help out. So somebody's going to get a $15,000 solar package on their home, or many of the people had said they were going to gift it to somebody, which is outstanding. Like that's a pretty big prize, right? It's the prize that just keeps on giving for a long time. Oh, yeah. Well, lots of them, it was for siblings or parents. There was a few for some coworkers and different things like that, which is awesome. So, yeah. No, I think no. I don't. It's funny. Like hand-me-down shoes. No, I'm not doing it. Plus, your feet are way bigger. Well, no, I think your feet are probably a little bit bigger. You got like big skis over there. Yeah, I think we got Michael's on the line now. Michael, congratulations, my man.
Well, holy, it's good. Good chalk one up for the good guys here.
Oh yeah, there you go. That is nice. Were you listening, waiting patiently to see if you won?
You know what? I listened for the last since you guys were on, and came into the shop to talk to some guys here, and I missed it. So. And then got the call. Oh, so, well, hey, there you go. Well, that's an extra positive Friday for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Now I can
buy some beers for the boys here.
Oh, there! Look at that. Hey, that's a good guy. Why not? Hey, just saving a little bit of cash here for sure. Well, a big shout out to Blake and everybody at Action. We'll get a hold of you. We'll come out, do the assessment. Now, are you keeping it? Are you gifting this to someone?
You know what? I originally talked to my brother about giving it to him, and he said, "You know what, man? I can't take it. You take it for yourself." And yeah, we'll do that.
Well, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. Well, you get to keep it for yourself. So that'll be, you know what? If your wife ever gives you grief for listening to Sports Talk Radio, that'll end today. That'll end today. I can guarantee you that.
Usually not for that.
Yeah,
Usually drink for that.
Well,
so,
hey, no, that. Well, anything else, you'll be in the good books for quite some time because not only is it a $15,000 installation package, it's all the savings you're going to have on your bills for many years to come. So,
absolutely,
congratulations, and Blake and everyone in Action Electrical will get a hold of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Keep up the positive Friday.
Hey, we will for sure. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Talk to you later.
Well, there you go. Hey, I love that guy right away. He's like, hey, gonna get some beers to the boys. Well, why wouldn't you? You got to celebrate. Yeah, good guy. You know what? I like it. Chalk it up for the good guys. I like that self-imposed good guy. That's nice. I like it. Nothing wrong with that at all. So good brother too said, no, dude, I can't take that. You keep it for yourself. So there you go. So thanks for everybody for entering. Man, we had thousands of entries all on the text line every day for people. This is obviously a big prize who wanted to get in. So it's fantastic. So hey Gregor. Well, actually, I can't read that text on air. So that would expose the identity. But no, it's same but incorrect. That's what I'll tell you, Juice. It's a different person because I can tell you that guy doesn't work in a shop.
It's funny how many guys though, like my dad is, when I was playing, my dad listened to the Fan 590 in Toronto. He carried around a little radio. It would drive me crazy that he would listen to sports. I'm like, Dad, like, why do you listen to this all day? And he actually called in. And so when I go to Toronto, like Gord Stellick and certain guys would be like, hey, how's your dad? And I'm like, how do you know my dad?
Oh,
he's
like,
like,
diehard.
Yeah, he's like, he calls in.
Oh, I love it.
And it used to drive me nuts. And it's kind of funny. Now I'm on a radio station talking sports. And I listen to sports all day long.
Well, now you get it.
Yeah. So, but when I was playing, not a chance.
Well, of course. Why would you?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to hear what they had to say about me.
It would have been good all the time. Geez, that Sean Brown guy can really skate. He's a pretty fast player.
Why is he on the ice?
Is his hands fast? Well, we'll see. We shall see. But hey, hey, like I always said, you know what? I always try to be fair in criticism of a player. There's certain words I'll never use when I talk about a player. When I hear people say, "Oh, he's terrible," I'm like, no one's terrible in the NHL. Now, a player can make a terrible play. That's valid, but they're not terrible. There's a very different thing, and I'm always kind of cognizant of it. It's always why I make sure I go sit in the seats a few times a year as a reminder of how hard the game is. Because up in the press box, like, trust me, I've talked to players when they sit up there, like, oh my God, like, it looks so easy up here. I'm like, why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? Like, just, so you almost realize sometimes you think you have more time, but then when you get closer, like the people, like, I know anybody who's ever sat in the first few rows of a game, they're blown away because TV doesn't even do it justice at how fast the game is. But when you sit, and even our seats are row 15, they're good, but you get to row 1. Even then, from row 1 to row 15, you're just like, oh my goodness.
That's why I find it's really hard to criticize these guys, right? Because it is so fast and you know exactly what they're going through.
Yeah. But there are times where you can still, like, you know what? There's certain plays that they're capable of making that they just shouldn't make. Like Bouchard, that play just can't happen. And especially because he'd been playing great in games 1 through 4. Like, the ones have been some of the 4 most complete games he's ever played. Honestly, like, he was good offensively, scoring big goals. Defensively, he's making good reads, he's checking guys, everything. And that play, because people are like, see, I told you he's bad defensively. That's not a bad defense. It happened in the defensive zone, but he's handling the puck, or mishandling in this case. To me, it used to be misread or not engage in a battle. That's what it wasn't. That's what it was. I mean, that's what did not happen last night. And that's what makes it more frustrating, I would think, is that's his forte. Right? Like, Evan Bouchard could close his eyes and stick out around most people.
But isn't that why we love this and why it's so amazing? Is because this is the game. Like, just that one mistake, that one shift changes the whole game. Could change the series, right? It's just everything is that big of a deal right now.
Hey, boys, you feel Vancouver's taking liberties on Edmonton top guys? I understand you want to take penalties and make the Stars fair game, but at some point you have to go tit for tat. Never see Hughes, Pettersson, or Besser feel uncomfortable. Edmonton has some passengers that could at least make those guys uncomfortable. I also think Pietrangelo going unpunished during the regular season is the difference between a winning culture like Tampa Bay and Edmonton. And he's talking about, knowing, and I get what you're saying, Brandon, and I mentioned that. I was kind of surprised, right? I still think Mikey Anderson never had to pay the price for what he did to Leon Draisaitl. I was always kind of perplexed by that. Maybe call me archaic, but look at other teams. You do that to one of their guys, it's non-negotiable. Right? It's non-negotiable that it's happening. So there is something, to me, that's a cultural thing. It's an organizational thing a little bit. Comes down from the top and coaches and everybody else. Sometimes you have someone who says, hey, because if you have a coach who tells a guy, I'm never getting mad at you for standing up at a teammate. I don't care. We'll kill the penalty off. And if it's in game 54 and we lose a game because you took a retaliatory penalty or an instigator penalty or whatever, if that one penalty costs us the playoffs, we're not that good anyway. That would be my approach to guys. Like, we don't want guys doing it all the time, but like, it's Leon Draisaitl. He's a pretty good player, right? So yeah, that's a little surprising to me. Now in this series, I don't know. I don't see them targeting Draisaitl. Do you?
I see. Absolutely. Yeah, they're finishing their checks on him. I mean, I don't think it's anything dirty.
No, that's what I mean.
But they're definitely going at him. I mean, Nurse hit.
Nurse crushed Patterson.
I mean, I think they're trying. Those guys also put them in pretty good.
Targeting is when you're like going out of your way is what I try to infer.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't see anything targeting, but I mean, I think Brad Marchand said it best. I mean,
I love
it is a part. It is a part of the game. Like you are trying to knock guys out, and that's just, it's not an easy game to be a part of. It's not an easy game to play, and that's the reality of it. And do the Oilers have enough guys that actually play for keeps and have that? That's a pretty good point by that listener there.
Yeah. No, Brad Marchand was bang on.
You know what will be interesting to see is Craig Berube's impact on the Leafs. I don't think that there could be a better hire. And you talk about a guy who is exactly cut from the same cloth as far as Rick Tocchet, right? I mean, he's going to demand that from guys. And the thing that is going to be hard to deny is that, like, when those guys ask what they're going to ask of you, those guys have done it. And it goes a long way, right? When a Craig Berube or a Rick Tocchet, who has played the game a certain way, starts asking you to start to do things. I think that could have been, or could be, probably the best hire for the Leafs. And if they're going to get over the hump, that guy with his accountability is the perfect match for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. You can be the most hard-nosed coach ever, but you still need some talent.
Well, it's not even so much like, it's not the hard nose. I think the relationship part is obviously very important, right? And I think Rick Tocchet is, even though he calls guys out, what we don't see is probably the relationship and the respect that he has for those guys, right? And then along with the respect that he has and has built with those guys, you can call guys out. But, he obviously, look at the way they're playing. They're relentless. They're tenacious.
But the funny thing is, Edmonton for games 1 to 4 have been the better team. They've controlled most of the game. The difference is in game 3, when Edmonton outshot them 45-18, Vancouver didn't gift them a goal. Right? They didn't.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Edmonton gifted them 1, arguably 2.
Yeah. I'm not pushing the panic button. Yeah. I mean, the Oilers, I think they're going to get a win. I think McDavid is going to have, his best game. I think he's going to throw everyone on his back. I think he knows. I think he is so competitive. And at this point, I just can't see him being denied. Right. And I think Saturday, you're going to see him buzzing around the ice, and he's going to have a huge impact 5-on-5. And I think, obviously, there's no way they'll ever go 0 for 5 moving forward for power plays.
All right. You heard it here first. Brownie with the power play guarantee. A little messy on a Friday. When we come back, Craig Button will join us. First time ever. Quebec Major Junior League, Ontario Hockey League, Western Hockey League, all league finals, all sweeps. Drummondville, London, and Moose Jaw. They're all going to the Memorial Cup in Saginaw. Moose Jaw for the first time ever. Quite the party there this weekend. Good for them. We'll talk to that and the playoffs with Butts next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small iced coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes flavored iced coffee and delivery.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks. On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave 118th.
Catch the Edmonton Stingers basketball home opener on June 2nd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Great savings when you book a weekday tee time. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club for an 18-hole round and get a $10 discount on your next round. Ask for details. Plus, their out-of-bounds restaurant is a must-try. CattailCrossing.ca.
Whether you're gearing up for a corporate golf tournament or just taking a client out for a round, get your branded shirts, jackets, golf caps, and prizing at Elite Promotional Marketing. Before you tee off, make sure you head to ElitePromoMarketing.com.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com. Cruise through summer with a sleek new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi.
Explore the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada,
including the dynamic Outlander PHEV and the sporty Eclipse Cross.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you'll get 0% financing on all our 2024 models, including the RVR and Mirage.
Plus, every Mitsubishi comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer powertrain limited warranty.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue and crossmitsubishi.ca.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow. You'll find a wide selection of Echo spring cleanup equipment at the Lawnmower Hospital. From grass trimmers and chainsaws to log splitters and multi-tool systems, all backed by Echo's outstanding 5-year consumer warranty. Make spring yard care a breeze with Echo and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHosp.com.
We're more than mowers, the Lawnmower Hospital.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more. 428. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. It is Positive Friday. Lots of reason to be positive still. I know Oiler fans a little frustrated last night. Late game heroics for JT Miller for the Canucks, similar to the game before for Evan Bouchard. And now the Oilers, hey, this is why the playoffs is never that easy. Right? There's lots of teams that were down and found ways to come back to win a series, and who knows? But it does not mean this playoffs is over. It's not over until they lose 4. And we'll see. Maybe they can win 2 in a row. I have a sneaking suspicion they'll win Game 6. And Game 7, man, all bets are off. Who knows what happens? That's what makes it so exciting and nerve-wracking and everything else. All I do know is that it will be a 6:20 start on Saturday, and if they win, it would likely be a 6:20 on Monday. Maybe 7:20 if they wanted to, Vancouver time. They don't want a Monday game at 5:20, but it is a holiday, so you still might be a 6:20 on Monday. We'll find out officially after the game on Saturday if they win. Now, let's get to our playoff report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Oh, it's going to start heating up. You don't want SWAS. You want to be relaxed. LegacyHeating.ca, and they will help you out. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown. Brown, I like that one. As we get to Craig Button from TSN. And Craig, before we get to hockey, I just want to get your thoughts. A guy you work with for quite some time, Darren Dutition, passed away earlier this week at the age of 57 after a battle with cancer. Do you have like a favorite memory or working moment with Dutch?
Well, I don't know how much time you have left on this show. I have lots of great memories with Dutch. I've tried to think about, what people saw with Dutch. That's exactly what he was. Mm-hmm. And when the camera was on and he was on your TV screen, I mean, he lit it up and he had energy and enthusiasm. And you hear, and I could tell you lots of stories just like everybody else can. But to watch him when the camera wasn't on, when he was in the newsroom, and no matter who you were or what you did, he made you feel like he made you feel important. Not like you were, but he made you feel important. He made you feel like that what you did was significant to what was going to happen on the show. He had time for everybody. He celebrated people. He championed people. There were so many things about Dutchie behind the scenes, like people, doing their first show. He knew it was your first show. And he made sure that you were comfortable in doing it because people would be getting nervous. I mean, Dutchie was a big, big presence, and he worked, but he had a huge heart. And the one story I like to tell about Dutchie. I come into the newsroom one day, one early evening, and Peter Houston was his name, and he did video and editing and everything. And he was talking about his hole-in-one. He said, "I got a hole-in-one today." And Dutchie turns around, he looks at him, and goes, Where'd you get it? And he says, "The 7th hole at such and such course." Dutchie goes, "That doesn't count. That's a par 3 course." He goes, "You don't count." He goes, "You don't count like the hole-in-ones on par 3 courses." And Peter's kind of a little bit like that. And I pipe in, I go, "Well, it's a hole-in-one. Like how can you?" He goes, "No." He goes, "No, doesn't count, can't matter." So I give him a little banner. He turns to me, he goes, he always called me Button. He goes, "Button, you ever get a hole-in-one on a mini golf?" Same thing. But he loved golf. He loved his family. He loved people. He loved his job. And I always say, what you saw is what you got. And I had so many great times with him on air, but I had just as many great times with him off air. And to watch him light up a room, when the camera wasn't on, he did exactly that. Gone far too soon.
Craig, we'll get to the NHL playoffs, but something we've never seen before in Major Junior Hockey, the WHL, the OHL, and the Quebec Major Junior League, all league finals, all sweeps. So Drummondville, London, and Moose Jaw, no one can say that they backed their way in. They dominated respectively, so they'll all be rested, which is kind of nice, I think, for all the teams. Saginaw's in, so it starts on Friday. You look at these teams, like I saw London come back from a 6-2 deficit against Oshawa in Game 3, and I was like, oh my goodness, they look really good. They're deep. But I want to start out west of Moose Jaw. First of all, it's the first ever championship in the WHL for Moose Jaw. I know the Canucks won, but it's kind of a different, not the same franchise because Winnipeg moved to Moose Jaw. So it's a big deal for that community. And they got some skill players, Craig. Like real skill. How do you see Moose Jaw matching up to Drummondville, Saginaw, and London?
They're going to match up really nicely. You just talked about the star players. I mean, you got Det Matejchuk, the defenseman of the year in the Western Hockey League. You have Jagger Firkus. He was the MVP in the Western Hockey League. And we'll just get to the next two guys, Matty Savoy and Braden Yeager. I mean, that is star power at a high level. I also think that they got a nice balance behind those guys that can play heavy. I mean, Braden Sherman scores the winning goal in back-to-back games. Good teams have players that dig in and play hard and can contribute in so many different ways. And I absolutely believe that the Moose Jaw Warriors have all of that and more. Portland was a really good team, and there's no question about it. But Moose Jaw, 6 out of 7 games versus a 6 out of 7 against Saskatoon. They had to go up to Saskatoon and win Game 7. Yeah. They win it in, and Saskatoon is a heck of a team, and they don't get there. Moose Jaw is fully deserving. I thought the Game 3 victory in overtime was really key. But I think the Memorial Cup, we look at the scoring of London. In the last 8 wins, 4-1 series win by Drummondville in third round and then the 4-game sweep, they gave up 11 goals in 8 games. So they've done it with defense. Then you have Saginaw that has this high-powered offense too. And then you have Moose Jaw. They're going to be well rested. The coaches are going to be able to look at a lot of film. Teams are going to be able to heal their bumps and bruises. I think it sets up for a great, because we've seen Memorial Cups where teams are banged up and they've given everything they can that they have to win a championship. They don't go in there fully healthy. And I think that the 4 teams in the Memorial Cup this year are going to really, really present a fantastic Memorial Cup.
Craig, maybe the news of the day with Craig Berube being hired by the Toronto Maple Leafs. To me, I think that's a fantastic hire. I think, his approach to the game and his intensity will do the Leafs well. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you, Sean. And I have all the time in the world for Craig Berube. I have all the time in the world for Craig Berube, the coach, and I certainly have even more time in the world for Craig Berube, the person. I really admire him greatly. And I think that, hiring him is significant. I think it's important. I think that he adds a lot to that organization. But I do believe this, Sean. They have roster imbalance. And I think until they can fix the roster imbalance, that Craig Berube, I think would be the case with any other coach, is going to have challenges. And they got it. And I think over the next 12 months, you have Craig in there working with a group of players that are going to be there, Matthews and Nylander, and understanding how he wants to instill certain things in the team. But I go back to John Cooper. And in Tampa Bay, they lost in the Stanley Cup final in 2015, and then they went through some cycles, and then they got knocked out in 2019 in that 4-game sweep to Columbus. They had to get their roster balanced before John Cooper ultimately won a Stanley Cup at back-to-back. I think Craig Berube's like a really good coach, but I'm not going to say it doesn't make a difference, because that would be so wrong to say. I just think that now Brad Treliving needs to get to work on the roster and trying to find balance. And that may take 12 months, because you have some pretty big contracts that aren't going to be easy to I guess extricate yourself from.
Craig Button joins us here on Sports 1440. Craig, moving to the playoffs, the Oilers and the Canucks. Last night Vancouver was clearly the better team for the final 40 minutes. I don't think it was really close. That hasn't been the case in the other games, but you wonder now, how much that gives them energy, or just you look at Edmonton, like JT Miller hated his game in Game 4. Rick Tocchet was ripping his team, and they bounced back with a much better effort. People wondered, because we have a lot of texts, well, how could you guys think they're going to be better in Game 6? Game 5 shouldn't have mattered. They weren't good. Like, I can't explain why it happens, but we see it all the time, right? Like, you look at Vancouver, JT Miller and their team didn't like Game 4. They played great in Game 5. Edmonton's top guys specifically in Game 5 weren't good. I would expect them to be better in Game 6.
Here's what I would say to you, Jason, and to you, Sean. if you ever come up with the answer to why these things happen and to how to resolve them, you will be making so much money, it'll be frightening, right? Because everybody's looking for that. I mean, you think about after Game 4, what Rick Tocchet said. He goes, you can't win. I don't even know if some of our guys realize they're in the playoffs. 5 or 6 passengers. JT Miller's hard on himself. He did. And I thought in a very, very smart way, pointed out about Elias Pettersson. Then he made some lineup changes. And what ends up happening, the Vancouver Canucks come out and they have a fantastic game. And certainly you could see that in the game. So for anybody to say after how well the Edmonton Oilers have played in Game 4, nobody would say, geez, well, do you think that, they'll not play as well in Game 5? No. And do we think that they can't replicate what they did in Game 4 in Game 6? These are good teams. Every game has been a one-goal game. You look at goaltending. Pickard was really good in Game 5. That game would have been well over before the last minute if it wasn't for Pickard. And I think that the Edmonton Oilers have been in this situation where they have to muster up the energy and the play of a group, and it's the entire group, to find a way. Am I going to bet against the Edmonton Oilers? No. Just like I wouldn't bet against the Vancouver Canucks in a Game 5. I mean, when you get to the second round of the playoffs, you've had the success that these two teams have had. You're not going to roll over. You're not going to just quit. And I think that we're in for a great Game 6. Am I gonna jump off the ledge and say that it'll be tilted one way or another? It'll probably be another one-goal game. My expectation is Game 7 Monday night. And I hope it starts earlier, not later.
Well, it should be. It should be the only game. So it should be hopefully a 6:20 to latest 7:20 Edmonton time start on Monday night. You watched last night though, Craig, and when the Oilers dominated Vancouver in Game 3 and lost, Vancouver didn't gift Edmonton a goal.
Right.
Last night Edmonton did, and that's still their one. Bouchard's been excellent for the first 4 games. And then last night on a play where it's a puck handling, which I would never expect him to make that play. So that's why it would seem like an outlier. But this organization, this group has had a tendency to just grenade themselves every now and then. And that was a prime example last night.
Evan Bouchard has been phenomenal for the Edmonton Oilers this year. He really has been. And up until game, I mean, he just didn't have a good game. I want to share a quick story. We're in 1999, we're playing Game 4 in St. Louis. And it goes to overtime. We're up 2-1 in the series. Sergei Zubov steps out, up the middle of the ice. Pierre Turgeon takes it. Top shelf. Game over. Series is 2-2. And you're kind of going, well, where did that come from? So, there's disappointment. There's excitement for St. Louis. Down in the coach's room, Rick Wilson, one of the assistant coaches, after a little pause there, he says, he goes, I guess we don't have to worry about that from Zuby for the next 100 games. Good thing he got that out of his system. And it's amazing to think that you've just lost an overtime game and you can have that sense of calm. I think that Evan Bouchard, he obviously didn't have his best night. I'm not worried about him. He has shown unequivocally that he's a difference maker for the Edmonton Oilers. And I expect that to be the case. But give the Vancouver Canucks credit for putting pressure. I mean, Bouchard, they didn't let Bouchard come out easily. There was pressure on him. And then now you got to do things a little bit quicker. I thought that was a real key for Vancouver in Game 5. They forced the Edmonton Oilers to operate with a little bit tighter space and less time. They were on the power play wasn't very good for the Oilers. Vancouver was on them. They were pressing them. And I think that, that adjustment, I know the Oilers, I believe strongly that the Oilers can adjust to that. They couldn't find a way to adjust to it in Game 5. They'll adjust to it in Game 6 because, they also see, hey, this is how they want to play us. You make adjustments. And I think that there's no question that those adjustments will be made. Most importantly, just playing quicker, playing faster.
Yes. Yeah, they didn't look as crisp as you'd normally expect from them, especially even on their power play, right? Like if you would have asked Oilers fans before the game, hey, the Oilers are going to score 2 goals 5-on-5 in the first period, and they're going to have 5 power plays, you're like, oh, I think there's a really good chance they're going to win the game. And obviously it did not happen. It seems pretty obvious, Craig, but you're going back to Pickard in Game 6, correct?
What for me it is. Like it is. It is for me, okay? But I think what Chris Knobloch has demonstrated is that he's got conviction. He's thinking about Chris is a very smart coach. He's a very smart, intelligent person. He's going to consider everything. He did it before Game 4 and Game 5. He'll do the same thing in Game 6. And I think, like, there's lots of, you can't do that to your number one goaltender. Wait a sec. It's about winning a game. And I don't think that Chris Knobloch has dismissed Stuart Skinner. It now comes straight down to who gives us the best chance to win. And Calvin Pickard was great in Game 5, excuse me. And I think that what I love about Chris Knobloch, there's many things I love about him, but he's not worried. He's not thinking about what if I'm wrong. He's trying to go with the belief this is who gives us the best shot. That's conviction. And for me, I said last night when we did our post game on TSN, I said I'd go right to Pickard on the plane home and go, get ready. You're playing Saturday night.
What type of game do you expect from Connor McDavid? I mean, it's probably not the series that he's probably accustomed to playing at the level. He's had a great second, the second game was a great game by him, but what do you expect from him?
I will never bet against Connor McDavid, Sean. I just won't. I know he didn't have a great game in Game 5, so if I'm just not betting on him having another down game. He's so competitive. We know what a great player he is, but he's so competitive. I think when you watch Game 5, and we talked about it just a few minutes ago, the Oilers weren't quick or fast enough, and certainly the Vancouver Canucks had something to do with that. I believe that Edmonton now adjusts to that. Connor McDavid learns. He learns like that. He learns, here's what they're trying to do to me. Even some of the moves, you watch him, they're trying to take away his forehand. He's trying to do those spinning moves to the net. One save, I don't think people, I shouldn't say people, that's not right. During the broadcast, he spun on a backhand. I thought Sheloff's made a great save on a backhand play. That I don't think they gave Sheloff's enough credit for the save that he made, because Connor at that speed can spin you around quickly. He just adjusts, learns, grows, and he's so competitive, and we know what a great player he is, that I expect him to have a big bite of Game 6. And much like Game 2, Sean, where he took the game over, and people can talk about 5-on-5 points. That game in Game 2, he was great 5-on-5. He might not have got a point 5-on-5. He was great 5-on-5. And I thought in Game 4 he was great 5-on-5. And maybe he doesn't get a point. 5-on-5 play isn't just about getting points. It's about how you impact the game and get momentum and carry it forward. So when I think about Game 6 and I think about Connor McDavid, I'll put my chips on Connor McDavid. I want him on my team. I don't want to have to play against him. And I certainly don't want to play against him after he's had an off game.
Fair point. One last one for you, Craig. The New York Rangers, a huge third period by Chris Kreider last night, a natural hat trick. Carolina, they're out again. What do you make of the direction? They got to make significant trades. You kind of keep tweaking with that core. What would you do in Carolina?
They have a good core. I really do. They have some really good young players coming in. Again, I talked about Tampa Bay here earlier. I know Carolina hasn't got to a Stanley Cup final, but they've got to a conference final. And I think they have a really good team. I think that they've added like really good, important types of players to their group. And now I think it's trying to find, it's going to be a different mix because that's just the way the NHL works. And now trying to find the right pieces. Much the same way that the Tampa Bay Lightning found the right pieces. And much the way that the Colorado Avalanche, who, when you think about the players that Colorado added to win the Stanley Cup in 22, like Josh Manson, they had Arturi Leckerman, they had Cogliano. You start to think about, it's not, they have the stars, and I think that Carolina has stars. It's now about, okay, who's the right fit with our stars and everything. And I think Don Waddell's done a really nice job, but now you reassess what can we afford, who's out there, and you make those types of moves that can really solidify your group and give you a better chance to advance. I mean, this was a team that was really good during the regular season. They've shown that over the next number of years. They're trying to break through. And so that's where I think. If I looked at one area, guys, that I thought that they really, people look at the goaltending. Okay, I think they have enough good goaltending. They didn't have a second line center, and I think that really showed up in their loss to the Rangers. That hurt them, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Kotkaniemi. I never liked that offer sheet many years ago, and it hasn't panned out at all. Craig, we will talk to you next week. The Memorial Cup will be beginning. Should be fun. Have a great long weekend.
Yeah, it should be fun. Can I just add, did you see how the Montreal Canadiens fans were trolling Carolina, saying, do you want us to start a GoFundMe account to pay back the $20 signing bonus to Kotkaniemi? Fans are vicious. They're cruel.
But they give you a chuckle sometimes, so that's for sure.
Yes, they do. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. That's Craig Button from TSN. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley. We'll come back. 5 questions. Pause the Friday edition on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and get your free $50 play. You're listening to Jason Positive Friday continues on. Man, I still got the chip bowl sitting here. I just keep thinking about getting some chips. Gosh. Positive Friday, can't wait. Well, you know, it's a funny thing. I'm not even I don't even eat a lot of chips. No, but the thing is, I like chips. So, what are your special? Well, you put ranch on it? Let me guess. You got ranch Doritos.
No. I am a chip guy, though. Doritos. Love Doritos.
Like ranch?
Oh, yeah. Cool Ranch?
Yeah, Cool Ranch, of course.
Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I like chips. Like, I like all dressed. I like the kid chips, all dressed. I still trust me. You put a bag of ketchup chips in front of me, I'll crush those.
What about a hell of a good dip?
What is that?
Isn't that a dip? Someone help me.
Yeah, it's a dip. Kind of almost like a French onion type dip.
Very good. Anything onion related, I'm out. So, but I think I've heard. I don't like onions. Well, that's right. Like, when I bake a baked potato, right?
Onions are chives.
I'll put onions in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I just take them out. I don't eat them, but I like the flavor in them. I just don't like the texture. I don't like how they look. I just try to avoid onions at all costs.
Onions and steak and mushrooms?
Well, I can have steak and mushrooms. No, like I've never heard of steak, onions, and mushrooms. I can order steak and mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah.
Mixing it all.
So I go maybe classier places than when like you're getting the shreds of like onions is kind of like the,
if I had your money, I'd burn my
days.
money.
They're the dog days of gardening.
What's that?
The onions.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, you eat at way bigger restaurants than I do, dude. I'm like I'm low key guy. You know that.
Yeah. We don't actually eat out a ton.
No. I like. We went to Hayloft again. If you've never been there, shout out to. And by the way, I think Paul and his wife are due to have a baby here right away. So he might be Phil Di Giuseppe in it. Might have to take a few days off. I think I'm pretty sure they got it. They're on the clock, if I'm not mistaken. So
exciting.
But honestly, we went to Hayloft. My siblings took my mom for her birthday and Mother's Day all together. Man, I love the food there. It's so good.
Where is it?
It's right off of the Henday Cameron Heights exit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So. Hey, I forgot to ask you, getting back to the media question there, have you ever had a take or had a problem where you've had to go into the dressing room and someone's confronted you?
I've had a few conversations with players.
Yeah.
But never really that bad. I think I told you that. Like Dwayne Rolson and I got into it once, but that was more of about a person to person, face to face. I probably overreacted looking back on it.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was like, well, now I'm pot committed. So he was, and Dwayne was rather crusty, and him and I talked about it afterwards, and he admitted, like, we both were like, yeah, and I probably overreacted. It was a comment. I wasn't necessarily mad at him. I was mad at the whole idea. Like, I get so tired of players whining that they got to talk to the media for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, your little precious life is so difficult. Like pound sand. It's not that hard. And anyway, so Dwayne, he didn't like the media because he told me afterwards, like when he was a backup, he kind of got burnt by quite a few guys. So he was a little skeptical of it. Totally fair. Right. And so we talked to him. I said, Dwayne, that's totally valid. It's like, I don't talk to every player. Some players are dicks. Some media guys are dicks. I always told players, if you don't like one media member, don't talk to them. But I speak for me. They speak for themselves. Yeah. If you have a problem with Spec one day, then have a problem with Spec. Don't have a problem with me. Yeah. And vice versa. Yeah. Right. If I talk to one defenseman, he's an idiot, do I look around and say all D-men are idiots? Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. So, but anyway, he was complaining, being disgruntled, but talk to media, whatever. And I was just sitting there and just said, oh, you have it so hard. Eh? You got to, and I just said, oh, you're getting paid millions of bucks. You got to talk to media for 5 minutes. Like, your life isn't that hard. So then there was kind of a bleep you back and forth. And then I was like, well, and I just said, dude, I don't need to talk to you. Right. Like, which in hindsight isn't the greatest thing as a radio host to not talk to the starting goaltender. Yeah. But at that point, I was like, I got to stand my ground. So I didn't for the final, I don't know, whatever it was, 3 months of the year. Now, other guys would talk to him, and would I run some of his answers? Sure, but I didn't talk to him. And I just that was my thing. Yeah. And then we were out I was out with my friends at, what was the old country bar for a while there on Jasper Ave, and like 111th Street.
Oil City?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we were in there one day, and anybody, when you walk into Oil City, had the big square kind of bar. And so I'm standing on one side of it, and directly across from me was Dwayne Rolson. And I'm like, I didn't hate the guy, whatever, but I'm like, I'm not going to go over and talk. He actually came over to me and said, hey, can I buy you a beer? I was like, yeah, sure. And then we talked out. He goes, you know what, man? I respect you because you stood your ground. I stood mine. Then we talked it out and we were fine. And now when I see Dwayne, we get along great. Yeah. But there is, to me, certain players will try to intimidate you, which is fine, just like in everyday life. And the minute they know they've got you intimidated, you're done.
Yeah.
They don't respect you. So you can't do it. It's one thing I always try to tell guys. You can't. They're hockey players. They're good at hockey. They're not better human beings. So, and, treat them that way, but don't ever get intimidated by them because then you're screwed.
Yeah. I was actually sent the clip there that Elias Peterson there. Did you see that where he was getting interviewed there and everyone's obviously wondering why he's struggling?
Yeah. And he just didn't answer. Yeah.
But I thought it was good on him. Like I thought he didn't shy away. And to be honest with you, he doesn't know. Like who wakes up thinking they want to have a bad day or they want to struggle? Like
fair.
I thought it was fair the way he answered that.
Yeah.
Like if he knew he would change it.
But the question was fair too. You have to answer the question. It's been like 3 months, man.
I sent it to my kid because I thought it was important for him to stay up there and take the bullets.
Yeah.
And he didn't shy away from it.
Well, who do you think put him up there? His head coach, dude. He was the only guy made available to the media that day.
Are you serious?
Yes, trust me. That's Rick Tocchet saying, dude, you're not going to perform. You're going out here. And that's great. I hate the organizations that hide the guys.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. He was the only guy available because it's your travel day. There's one guy. And like Zach Hyman was the one who talked yesterday for the orders, right? It's one guy because you're flying in, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
And but Peterson was a guy. Trust me, that was Rick Tocchet's doing. He said, no, that guy's talking.
Yeah,
and you got to own it.
Yeah,
you can't hide away. It's easy to get all the money and then never have to talk.
Yeah, good for him. And I thought he had a good game,
and he did have a good game. Yeah. And again, none of those questions were that hard. That his life is like, oh my goodness, I can't handle it. Hey, how come you haven't played well for 3 months? It's not that hard of a question.
No, but it's when people didn't get an answer, it's legitimately he doesn't know.
Yeah, he probably doesn't.
And he's
know.
trying to find. There's no one that wants to figure it out more than
that's fair.
Anyone than himself.
I agree with that. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick. The final few days of the tent sale. Get in 60% off clearance items, gents, ladies. Looking for little shopping deals? Get to The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1. Any lineup changes you would make for the Oilers heading into Game 6 facing elimination?
Like we talked about earlier, I'd probably maybe make an adjustment with Perry, depending on whether Henrique or whether he's available. But if he's not available, maybe put in Carrick.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if they haven't done it now. I don't think they will. I definitely don't change the goalie. I'm going with Pickard. I thought he played really well. And I'd stick with it. Yeah, Perry's the only guy. I think the fact he only played 7 minutes makes you think it's possible.
Question number 2. Any Oilers skater that stood out to you being their best player last night?
So we're removing the goaltender?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Brown and Janmark, right? Like they're limited roles, but in the role that they had to play, penalty killers, they had goal and assist. I thought those two.
Yeah, that's... I was going to go Janmark, but I mean, Brown obviously making that play and getting that puck over. I'll agree with you there.
Question number 3. Of the teams remaining in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which do you think is the most dangerous right now?
Well, I'm going to go the Rangers because they're the one guaranteed in the 3rd round. The other ones, you never know. Like, honestly, I think Florida's, I'm pretty confident there, but honestly, Colorado, Dallas, coin flip. I'm pretty confident Edmonton wins Game 6. Then we'll see who wins Game 7. But I would go with the Rangers on the caveat that I know they're in, but Florida would still be another one.
And I'll go with Florida. I love the depth. I love their toughness. And, to Todd, or not, Marchand, Brad Marchand's point there, they have guys that play that style of hockey that they're going to go after stars and try and knock them out.
Question number 4. Heading into the weekend here at the PGA Championships, obviously Schauffele Morikawa atop the leaderboard right now, but a lot of guys still in it. Who's your pick to win the tournament?
I'll go Rory McIlroy.
Rory? Wow, even close. Terrible pick. I'm gonna go. I've picked this guy so many times to win. He's always close. He's got to break out at some point. I'm gonna double down again with the X factor in Xander Schauffele.
And final question for you guys today. Hypothetical Friday. If you had to live in a cartoon world for a week, we're talking TV shows, movies, video games, which would you choose?
Man, I thought about this. I don't even know. Like the Jetsons.
That's a great answer.
Is it? No, there you go. Thank you.
Wow. Which one would I live in? That's a good question, Cons. I'd like to be in The Incredibles. You're going to have superpowers for a week.
Yeah.
Like your whole family, you get to do lots of cool things. So I'll say The Incredibles.
Thought our other producer Brandon had a good answer with Pokemon, but I would go with Simpsons.
You know what? I've never watched Pokemon. I have no understanding of Pokemon.
You go and capture the animals.
Sure, yeah.
The little Pokeball.
Like I played the card game. I don't even know if I'm playing it right with my son, but I played it.
He says he would be pretty good. Simpsons for me. I want squishies. I want to try Duff beer, all that sort of thing. So that's where I'd go.
Yeah.
Squishies and Duff beer, like things you can try in real life.
You can have squishies?
Yeah. It's
from
called
the Quickie Mart?
Yeah. Well, basically it's a slush. Do you think the squishy is going to be any different?
Maybe.
I
like to think so.
Have you ever been to the Redder in St. Albert?
No.
Oh, there you go. Go to the Redder, buddy. It'd be like Quickie Mart, but better.
What about, has anyone watched that the roast of Tom Brady?
Yeah, I watch it.
How offensive was that?
Not really.
Really?
No, that's what a roast is.
That's a roast.
Get some thick skin. Have you ever been to any of our roasts?
I couldn't even watch it all.
Oh, gee. Well, so basically, like, if we do another roast, we can't roast Sean Brown.
There's no way. It'd be too easy. I couldn't believe how offensive that was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know. I've watched lots of roasts.
Really?
Yeah, there's funny. I was like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Nikki Glazer's great. Like, there's, I thought it was.
Who's the guy that came out there with the? Oh, he's the comedian that came out with the football. Oh,
Jeff Ross.
Jeff. Oh yeah,
the Roastmaster General.
Oh,
yeah,
he's cruel.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's what you're supposed to be. It's not a toast brownie. It's called a roast for a reason. God, we're gonna have to roast you one time. This will be fun.
No, I've never.
Are we going to Game 7?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Brownie, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
That's Sean. He'll be at the game tomorrow. Say hi. He'll be signing autographs outside Gate 6.
If you want one.
Here is Connor Halley on Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. It's a great time if you love strawberries. You can have a combination. You can try the brand new strawberry blush smoothie or the strawberry sarin tea teaser, and they brought it back. Special demand because everybody loves it. The strawberry and cream booster ball with strawberries, cashews, vanilla, and coconut. Get them today at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Craig Berube back in Toronto as the Maple Leafs will hire him as their next head coach, 32nd in franchise history. He played 40 games with the team back in the 91-92 season, previously spending time as the head coach of the Flyers and the Blues, winning a Stanley Cup with St. Louis in 2019. On the ice tonight, 2 games, Bruins and Panthers just about to get going. Panthers lead that series 3-2. And later tonight, the Stars in Denver taking on the Avs, leading that series 3-2 as well. In the association, the Pacers looking to stay alive at home as they host the Knicks, trailing 3-2. Tip-off 6:30 in that one. The Blue Jays are in action tonight, getting going in a couple minutes, hosting the Rays. 2 teams will meet tomorrow and Sunday as well. Both those games can be heard right here on Sports 1440. In the BCHL Alberta final, Sherwood Park in Brooks to take on the Bandits. Brooks leads that series 2-9. PWHL Game 5 between Minnesota and Toronto. Out in Toronto, that gets going shortly here. That series obviously tied at 2 games apiece. In the WNBA, Mystics and Sun tonight. Then you got the Lynx and the Storm. And at the PGA Championship right now, Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 12 under. He's on hole 16. You've also got Colin Morikawa sitting at 11 under and Sahith Theegala 10 under through 12. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs.
420
free living and build new friendships and a
sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
When summer brings the heat, McDonald's brings the chill. During summer drink days, enjoy a small iced coffee or a refreshing Coca-Cola for $1 plus tax and step up your summer today. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow. You'll find a wide selection of Echo spring cleanup equipment at the Lawnmower Hospital. From grass trimmers and chainsaws to log splitters and multi-tool systems, all backed by Echo's outstanding 5-year consumer warranty. Make spring yard care a breeze with Echo and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHospital.com.
We're more than mowers, the Lawnmower Hospital.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
.512, welcome back. Positive Friday, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. If you missed it earlier last hour, Michael was our winner in Here Comes the Sun, courtesy of Action Electrical, of $15,000 for solar panels on his house. Unbelievable Positive Friday for him. Thanks to Action Electrical. Thanks to everybody who entered for the last month. And it's quite the Positive Friday for Michael. And when we called him, we had him on the show. He was in the shop and said, hey, he's going to get some celebratory beverages for the crew. So sharing the wealth. It's always nice. I like it. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. 100% of the revenue proceeds stay right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca. 2 games in the National Hockey League tonight. Elimination games. Boston at home. They need to win against Florida. Colorado, the late game. They also need a victory over Dallas to push it to 7 games. And then tomorrow, the Oilers and the Canucks. Remember, folks, 6:20 start time tomorrow. That's the puck drop for the Oilers and the Canucks in a must-win game for Edmonton in Game 6. And let's get to Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction. They never have must-wins, but they have must rules if you want to work there. Stay there. They have high levels of integrity, high levels of standard, and if you want to work for a great company or hire a great company, go to GS Construction. Mark Spector joins us, and Spec, I don't think there's many people that thought the Oilers would be trailing in this series, but here they are. Vancouver full marks for their victory last night. They were the better team and really dominated the second period and into the third frame. And so now we'll see kind of, what the Oilers are made of here. They were in a situation like this 2 years ago. They won 6-7 against LA. Last year they lost at home 6 to Vegas. I don't think Vancouver's Vegas, but we'll see what happens. What did you make of last night? And what's your expectations for tomorrow?
Well, it's funny, Jay. I was just looking at the series as I wrote today, and this series started out with a 5-4, and then it went to a couple of 4-3 games, and now we've had a couple of 3-2 games, right? It's getting tighter. Everything's a one-goal game, and scoring's going down. That doesn't favor Edmonton. This was a Vancouver team. Remember, here was shots of any playoff team in the first round, and remember that Nashville series? Like, there was zero offense that series. And we thought, okay, they won't be able to deal with the Oilers' offense. Well, increasingly, they have been able to. So to me, it's no secret. Much closer to a 5-4 team than a 3-2 team. They're always going to be. When they play defense, they're good, but they got to, two doesn't win it. And when the Oilers only score 2, Jay, they're not playing well. They're a 3 or 4 goal team when they're playing well. No?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I look at and we'll get you on the phone just because everything's cutting in and out there. But I look at the offense of the Oilers yesterday. You score a 5-on-5 goal. You score 2 of them, in fact, one from your fourth line, and your power play gets 5 opportunities. Man, to me, that should be more than enough for them to win a game, and it wasn't. Unfortunately, Spec, you know what? You get all those. You get, Janmark scores on a nice play on your fourth line. Kane scores. You're up 2-1. You got all these power plays. Like, it's like their power play has won them so many games. It's hard to rip on them at all because they got a pretty good track record. But man, last night they really didn't show up, and their best players, not only on the power play, their best players 5-on-5 just simply weren't good enough.
No, for sure, and it's a rare time when the Oilers lose. We lose. We watch them. When it doesn't work, we look around the lineup and go, well, geez, it's about time to help the big guys. Listen, a power play that's gone 50% in the series was going to have a night where it didn't score. That's just the way it is. You don't get to be 50%. Holy cow. So, a rare way to lose for the Oilers, but a loss nonetheless. And, you got to find different ways to win in this playoff. And they were on their way to a different way to win, but somehow they started the second period and the Oilers never got to touch the puck. And frankly, Jay, they got out of the second period only giving up 1 goal against. I thought that was larceny, right? Yeah. I thought, man, 2-2 after 2 in this game, the Oilers are in a great spot. But Vancouver came out and had more of the third period too. They were better. And, it's 2 good teams, and they're obviously very closer than probably a lot of people thought they were. And that's why we're sitting here in a 6-game series with a bunch of 1-goal games, and nobody's won 2 in a row, Jay.
No, they haven't. Spec, I've been thinking about it all day, and the more I think about it, so maybe I'm overthinking it. Goaltending, Pickard, Skinner. What would you do? What do you think they do?
Oh man, it is. I've been thinking about it all day too, because I knew you were going to ask me about it. You sure seem to be fixing something that's not broken if you put Skinner in. Right? I mean, what do you want? First of all, I think I think Pickard's at .915 his save percentage, and he was absolutely heroic and beaten on a total fluke goal to win the game last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Patterson backheels that puck to nobody. If it goes in, you don't know, but it's not a goal because he kicks it in. It doesn't go in. It hits a post and doesn't ricochet to the corner, lands right on his teammate's stick. So no fault for Pickard. So I have a hard time thinking, Jay, why I'm replacing that goalie. What am I doing? Now, the other side of it is, it's maybe you get a boost by bringing Skinner in. Maybe by putting trust in a guy that's been back there for you all year, maybe it becomes a bit of a rallying thing. And maybe he plays real well, and maybe the team gets something out of that, right? Maybe that's a change that brings something to your dressing room and something to your team that just running the same guy out doesn't bring you. So those are your two options. I don't know which one they're going to pick. What do you think?
Well, originally I thought it would be Pickard. But the more I look at it, and I think of Chris Knobloch, I think it's going to be Stuart Skinner. And I think they're going to say Stuart Skinner was the guy who got us here. And yeah, you know what? We didn't love his game in game. Well, at certain times, like obviously didn't like the 5th goal in game 1. Didn't love some of the goals in game 3. And I think Knobloch has always been one of a guy who likes to show that he believes in his players. They're allowed to screw up, but he'll give you another chance, right? And so I think it's actually going to be Skinner.
Okay. I guess for me, I'm gonna go forward, Jay, on the assumption that Skinner's going to come in and he's going to play well. He's rested. He hasn't played. He's working on his game. I'm going on the assumption that you're going to get good goaltending out of Skinner. You're also going to get a good defensive effort out of the Oilers tomorrow. So I think, as I'll say it again, what Skinner does for you, he gives you a little moral boost here. We're going back to our guy. We're going back to our team. Pickard came in, did his job, but now it's time to get back to who we are. And who we are when you're the Edmonton Oilers is Skinner in your pipes. So that would be a change that might pay dividends. If he comes in and he's no good, well, I guess that's a problem, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. But I think that's where, they look and say, hey, you know what? You've been good for us. We know you can be good. Just play up to your capabilities, right? And I think they feel like he's their guy. And so, you know what? Maybe it shows something to the rest of the team. Like, yeah, you know what, guys? He sat out for 2 games. And that's a pretty big thing, right? To take a guy out for 2 games in the playoffs, because he's not the only guy who hasn't played great, right? And so they took other guys out. The other thing is, I'm going to say how physical Vancouver was, and I think it's ramped up, but I thought they ran kind of Edmonton around the rink. I'll be stunned if Sam Carrick isn't in the lineup tomorrow. Absolutely stunned if he's not in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, it's time to get some fresh legs in, and it's time to get a hitter in. I'm not disagreeing with you. I've been at every game, and Vancouver is out hitting them. No question about that. I just don't know if, sometimes it's like the Leafs when they go to Boston. The Leafs are never going to go hit for hit with the Bruins. That's not who they are. It's not their team.
It's true.
And they go in there and they try to, and it doesn't help them. They get to the playoffs a certain way, and then they try to turn into some other team when the playoffs start. And Edmonton is, they can play, they can hit, but they're not a run around and bang you team. If that's the team you want, then build that team in November and October. Don't try to turn into it here in May. So I don't think they're ever going to have as many hits as the Canucks have.
No, but you have to have a few guys who do it.
Yeah,
is what I think. Right? It doesn't have to be everybody, but and Carrick, you're not asking Carrick to come in the lineup and do something that he's not comfortable doing, right? So I think they're looking and say, hey, we need some guys to maybe, do it a little bit, because it can add it. And I'm not saying he's going to be a massive difference maker. That's not what I'm saying. When you look at the overall element, there's some guys like Corey Perry hasn't done anything in this series, right? Now, Ryan McLeod defensively has been fantastic. I think offensively, like if you look at that play that Corey Perry made last night, Spec, when he came from, when he kind of but cut in on Hughes to the net, like that was a good play. But
watch right through Hughes. Watch right through him.
Watch the replay and see where Ryan McLeod went. Ryan McLeod, and the reason I notice it is because I watch kids on my team, and I have some kids who they go away from the play and they go away from the net. You're in no area to score. Watch the play again. Anybody out there listening, go watch that replay. Corey Perry has the puck behind the net. He cuts in the short side of the net. Ryan McLeod has taken himself completely out of the play. He's gone into the corner to do what? Nothing. And that was the prime example why Edmonton doesn't have enough guys going to the net. Because if Ryan McLeod funnels to the net, maybe he gets a rebound. But that play epitomized what's wrong with McLeod offensively. Defensively, no problem. Offensively, That's a big concern. It's a guy who's just playing on the perimeter, and he was in, and he drifted out of the play. It's amazing.
It's crazy how naturally that comes to him. So much so that he said to us in a scrum 2 days ago, you probably heard the quote. He said, "It's okay to be on the perimeter sometimes during the regular season, but not in the playoffs." And Ryan Rishaug and I said to each other after, that's the first time either of us has ever heard a player say, it's okay to be on the perimeter in the regular season. Like, it's not okay to be on the perimeter at any time if you're trying to score goals and be a good player. So it's an issue in this game, man. It's an issue. We've all said it. We've all watched it. It's not getting better. And it really gets exploited at a time like this when the game compresses and the opportunities come off the walls and they come into the slot. And the guys who can't get in there, we see that and they get exploited. And I will go back to the Maple Leafs. They got a bunch of them. And Ryan McLeod's one of them. You know, the replay you're talking about, there's no goal there for him because it's not in his nature to hang around the net. And I don't know. I want to say this for Corey Perry. Corey Perry's been playing with this guy the whole time, and Corey Perry's game is an inside cycle game, and they got him with McLeod, who's a perimeter non-cycle guy. You know, I'm not gonna protect Corey Perry, but I don't think they're using him right. I don't think he's got guys playing with him that playing with Fogle and McLeod. There's no cycle there, pal. And they run Kane down on that line sometimes, and Kane can't cycle for his life. So Perry's on an island here, and he's too old to be on an island. He needs help.
Mark Spector joins us on Sports 1440. Any matchup you think Knobloch should push for tomorrow night?
No, I don't. I'm not worried about matchups here. We're 6 games in, right? 5 games in. I'm not. I think that Quinn Hughes has not dominated this series. He's their best guy. You know, when Edmonton plays well, they're fine. And frankly, they're never going to get away from what's been their biggest problem is certainly the 2 big defensemen, Zadorov and Myers. Excuse me, I lost his name. And then there's Soucy as well, who's been really pretty good. So, you know, you're not getting away from those guys. So, yeah, okay, if I can get McDavid off those guys, sure, I'll take that matchup. But it's not going to last for very long. Frankly, you got to learn how to beat them instead of trying to run away from one a matchup because we're going to Vancouver for Game 7, and you're going to get them there anyhow.
Yeah. No, it was more so which matchup should he try to get? You know, as far as, hey, I want this guy. You know, maybe you want Draisaitl out against Miller more than against McDavid, right?
Oh, on the forward lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know if they're playing McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines. I would assume they are. In Game 6.
I would think so.
That change, you know, I would assume they should. So, you know, who do you like against Miller? You know, a lot of the time last night it was McDavid, and McDavid didn't get much done. So maybe I want to get McDavid off of Miller here.
That's exactly.
Miller's their best player. He's their best player, hands down. And Lindholm's been awfully good too.
Yeah. Spec, it's going to be a great Game 6. Are we going to have a Game 7?
I have to say that the team I've watched all year, I don't see them losing this game tomorrow night. I don't see it. This team I see in that dressing room and the one I followed and covered and all that, I see them winning the game. They got that much in them. Don't ask me to predict Game 7 until, you know, we get there. But I think we're going back to Vancouver. Yes, I do.
Spec, have a good weekend. We'll see you at the rink.
All right, Jay, see ya.
There you go. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Who do you think is going to start? I'm telling you, my spidey sense is saying Stuart Skinner. See what you think. We'll talk more about the orders. Hear from Leon Draisaitl a little bit later on in the show. Low Tide and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words.
Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time.
You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is
Oodle Noodle time.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Hey sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for all things sports.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
For a limited time at McDonald's, enjoy the tasty breakfast trio. Your choice of chicken or sausage McMuffin or McGriddles with a hash brown and a small premium roast coffee for $5 plus tax. Available until 11 a.m. at participating McDonald's restaurants. Price excludes delivery.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Elevate your drive with spectacular savings at Windermere Chrysler. Get 10% off the rugged 2024 Ram 1500, the luxurious Grand Cherokee, or the versatile Durango. Thinking bigger? Opt for a heavy-duty truck and enjoy a no-charge diesel upgrade. Or take advantage of no payments for 90 days on select 2024s. Visit us today and explore these offers in our breathtaking new showroom. The choice is clear.
It's Windermere.
Visit windermerecdjr.ca.
Positive Friday, rolling through. How are you? Welcome back. Gregor, Connor Halley with you. It's a Positive Friday, and Oiler fans psyching themselves up for what should be a heck of a night. You know it's going to be loud, whether you're watching the game, whether you're at at the Moss Pit, whether you're out at OTR, your neighbors, sitting at home. Some of you like to watch it alone, in silence, no one around. Right? Maybe you got the pacer in your house. Somebody who's the warrior, somebody who's like the screamer at the TV. Like, you will see all types of fans, and everybody will come out. Because the great part about the playoffs is, even if there's someone in your household who doesn't really watch all year long, they usually watch in the playoffs. Right? Becomes a little bit more intense. And it's my wife is not a huge sports fan, but she likes going to live sports events, and she'll watch in the playoffs. And when Miller scored last night, yeah, let's just say, like, I don't think I didn't even know she gets that riled up, but it's kind of funny. I don't know. You just there's certain emotions that come out for certain people that you never expect. That's what the playoffs do. I'm sure you have someone in your household who's all of a sudden, you're like, geez, you suddenly care way more than you normally do. It's good. Let's go to the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars, Edmonton.com, Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, located right here in Edmonton. Why? Because they are a 13-time winner of Excellence Award in sales and service. Not only you get a great deal, but you're going to get great service all the time. Go to VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, joins us now. LT, so my question for you, Al, who would you start in goal? Who do you think they'll start in goal?
I would. I'm a big time Stuart Skinner fan, but I would go with Pickard. I honestly don't think goaltending has been an issue the last two games. I'm on. If they choose Skinner, I'm fine with that. But I think I would go back to Pickard. I think he's given them a chance in both games. What you need to do, I think Game 6 is obviously massive, but I think it's a very winnable game for the Oilers. If they even, they've got to clean some stuff up. They've got to give a little more effort. They've got to have clean breaks. There's a few things they have to do. But I think you want goaltending not to be an issue. Not that Stuart Skinner can't do it, but I think they'll go with Pickard. I'm a big Skinner fan, just so you know. If they go with him, I'll be happy.
Yeah, fair. Originally, I was like, this morning I got up and I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to go with Pickard. And then I started thinking, and I started looking, and I was going through, some of the games played and different things, 3 consecutive starts and all those sorts of things. And then the fact that Skinner's been their guy all year long. I think that there's something about, that a message sends to your team, hey, this guy has been here all year. You're right. He didn't have a great game, but we're just coming off a terrible game. Because if the way some of the Oilers played yesterday, if the coach had a lot of other guys that they could be a backup for them, they'd get out of the lineup too, but they don't. And so that's why I think it's going to be Skinner tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers. I think they view him as their guy, and they say, hey, man, we believe in you. You can play well, and just be better than the goalie at the other end of the ice. So,
well, the thing about it, if that happens and he does it, the redemption level would be massive, because if they play Skinner tomorrow night and he wins, then that could be a huge beginning of a role for him. And so, that makes real sense from that point of view. You're looking at an opportunity here to salvage a goaltender who you need. You clearly need him. Mm-hmm. And then you have an opportunity to, if he wins Game 6, he sure as hell playing Game 7.
Oh yeah.
So you get a little momentum that way.
Yeah. Oh, makes sense. The Oilers, Al, what surprised you about the game last night?
I have watched McDavid for many years, and I always say he sets his jaw and says to hell with it in big games, and I thought he would do that, and it didn't happen. Now, I will give the Canucks a lot of credit. They're a very fine team, but I also felt for some time, and I know you've written about it and mentioned it, I feel McDavid might not be 100%. Nobody is. But last night I had the expectation of an extra gear, and it wasn't there. And I also had the expectation, Bouchard has been so good in this series, and I'm not going to, young defenseman will break your heart. I'm not going to rip on him for the play that was made, but the timing of it was pivotal. And I think that the Oilers, the best players for the Oilers during this regular season, since they got hot and the new coach, right through until last night, were not their best players last night. And that did surprise me because, clearly they wanted to be better, but they weren't. They have another opportunity here tomorrow night. I suspect they will win, but that was my surprise.
Yeah. It's a rarity when their best players aren't their best players, but their best players weren't their best players last night.
Exactly right.
Yeah. And they'll have to just collectively as a team, they're going to have to be a lot better tomorrow night if they hope to have success. To me, we talk lots about support players, and there's support guys that got to be better for sure. But you look at the Oilers' power play, that's where their best guys are. Their power play was not very good at all. Didn't really even there'll be games where they don't score in the power play, but you're like, oh my goodness, they had like 6 really good chances. Yeah. They didn't have one good scoring chance in the power play last night.
Yeah, and you broke down the winning goal about what didn't happen, Hyman, and all of that. Those are basic things, and I know that if they had it to do over again, they all would. But that's how you win, and that's how you lose too. Mm-hmm. And I think that attention to detail is something the Oilers, even the veterans, it comes and goes, and they're such a talented team. Being critical of them is they're, let's face it, they're really, really good. But there is an attention to detail area that sometimes, there's an ebb and flow to it like any team. And last night I thought that they weren't as precise with the passing, and they weren't, as creative as they normally are. And I suspect we'll see it tomorrow night.
A forward change. Now, I'm told Adam Henrique is not an option. So anybody out there wondering, Adam Henrique not an option for tomorrow. I would put in Sam Carrick, Al, only because I think Edmonton, one guy can't make the whole difference, but a little percentage of difference. And right now they got too many non-physical forwards. I would put him in. So my question is, who do you think would come out?
Well, that's a good question, because I'm going to give you a name, and I understand I love him as a player. I've always loved him as a player. But
I think I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, Corey Perry is for me. He's a player who is, he made a really nice wraparound last night, and so as I say it, I'm hesitant because maybe he's finding the range. But I think they could use, Carrick's a good, I like Carrick a lot. I think the Oilers have real depth this year, and good players are sitting. But I think that would be my move. And I think that, people will get mad at me now, but I think I'd move Connor Brown up. I think he played really well last night.
100%.
Janmark did too, but I might keep the line together and play them more, but that would be my move.
Yeah, Corey Perry, I think there's an argument there to come out, just because, the little you're playing him. They got to find a way, I don't know how, to show McLeod some highlights from the offensive side of the red line in. Because as good as he's been defensively, Al, he's been invisible offensively. When he does get a shot, he's always missing the net high all the time. I'd just be just shoot it on the ice. And then if you raise it, maybe I'll hit him in the pad. But you can't continually keep missing high over the net every damn time.
The reason I wouldn't take him out, Jason, is because I think they need that speed.
Oh, no, I didn't say take him out. I just said I would show him tape on dude. We need some more offensively from you.
Well, and he also needs to, and this is something that comes up for him from time to time, and then he gets it and then he forgets it. But all of the young players, Holloway is I think Holloway is he is really learning on the job here pretty quickly. But when you're going to the net, go to the net and then stop. Don't do a flyby. And McLeod has improved that at times and then gone back the other direction. And I know you're going to get hit and cross-checked in there, but you have to do it. Even if you're just screening, you have to be a presence in there when you have possession of the puck, and maybe that's your role.
Yeah. I just think, you know what? Yes, you can be good defensively, but you got to be able to bring more, especially because his speed is such a threat. He should be able to go to the net. And, he kind of gave himself, in that comment, he said hey, you know what, in the regular season, you can play in the perimeter, but you can't in the playoffs. And it's I don't think you can play in the perimeter in the regular season either. I know maybe that's what he's saying, but if you think it's okay, then it's hard to suddenly, you can't flip a switch. If you've played one way all year, you can't just say, well, now I'm not a perimeter player. Because guess what we're seeing in the playoffs? Perimeter player.
Yeah, it is a imperative that every it's all hands on deck, especially tomorrow night because it's the end of the year. So if you if you get bloodied, so what? Who cares? It's everybody's. You only get so many opportunities to win the Stanley Cup, and this Oilers team is good enough. Doesn't look like it right now because they're down 3-2, but they have they could win the Stanley Cup. So if you're worried about a hit or playing in a certain area, then you have to. I think you have to evaluate, because this is why you play. I mean, I know money's good, but all of these cats want to win the Stanley Cup, and you've got to go. This is it. There's no. I mean, this is what you've been trying for, and you've got the opportunity. And if you win tomorrow night, I think there's a real chance they win the series.
Al, it's going to be a great weekend. We appreciate it. If there's a Game 7, we might have a low tide on Monday, so we'll see.
Oh, loving it. You know what? I'm so there. I'll do the show in the parking lot either way, but I'd love to come inside and do it live.
All right. Well, there you go. I love it.
Have a good one.
There you go. That's Al Mitchell. Okay, yes, if there's a Game 7, we're off for the holidays, but the guys were talking. I think we will do like from noon to 6, like a 6-hour pregame for Game 7. Should be a lot of fun. So if you're hyped up, or you need to be hyped up, tune in on Monday. If there's a Game 7, we'll be here. If not, you'll all be mourning. You don't want to hear us anyway. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
When it comes to your heavy haul trailers, don't settle for a patch job that will fall apart after a hard day's work. Bring your unit to AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They'll solve the problem once and for all, keeping you working with limited interruptions. For 25 years, their experts have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for mining, oil and gas construction, and renewable industries. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. Learn more at AccuSteel.ca.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks. On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave 118th.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and courage. Tickets are $75, including entry into a mountain getaway draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50-50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local Kidsport Kids registration fees. Visit kidsportbidsforkids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow. Tame your yard with the help from the Lawnmower Hospital. Live on an acreage? Save up to $2,000 and get 0% financing for 36 months on select Toro zero-turn tractors, OAC. For smaller jobs, go for the Toro Super Recycler. With personal pace and electric start, make spring yard care a breeze with Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Logs crackle as you toast a marshmallow to perfection.
light dances off your lustrous new Toyota. Nearby, a cricket chirps. Or a mosquito. Anyways, one thing's for sure, this moment isn't just a dream, it's an invitation to escape. So stop dreaming. Red Tag Days are on a Toyota. For a limited time, lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 36 months at 5.49% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And that tradition continues with the all-new 2024 F-150. Lease one today with $1,000 down and pay just $299 bi-weekly, taxes included. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. The F-150 $299 driveway lease, only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Cars cost less than Wetaskiwin.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
550. How are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. The Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440 in our well inbox. Hey, boys, of this last Stanley Cup champs, how many times were they down 3 games to 2 in a series? Well, I'd have to look that up. It would take a while, Brian, but I do know there's a few teams that were down 2-0 in series that came back to win. The Capitals in 2018. I'm pretty sure the Penguins were down 2-0 in a series and 3-2 in one of their years when they went back to back. Maybe even the Blues. I'd have to go back and look, go through. It's a good question. I think it's a fair question. But there has been some, yes. Teams that looked like they were on the brink. Heck, the 1990 Edmonton Oilers were down 3-1 against the Winnipeg Jets, came back and won that series and then went on to win the Stanley Cup. That's one off the top of my head. I know there's other ones, but we'd have to go through it. It's a good question, but I can tell you there's definitely been a few over time. Trust me, there's adversity. It thickens your skin. And you know what? Oiler fans, you're not liking it right now. You're a little nervous. You're a little angry. People are like, the season's over. Holland's terrible. Skinner's terrible. Go down the list. And that's fair. I understand it. But what if they win Saturday and what if they win Monday? Now they're in the conference. Do you get bonus points because you win in 5 or 6 games? Does that guarantee you more success? It doesn't. Right? That's what we've seen. We've seen the LA Kings won the Cup one year. And so I know the Kings won the Cup. They were down 3-0. And came back and won. So there's one for sure. They were actually in 7-game series, the first 3 series that year. They played 21 games before they got to the Stanley Cup final. There's all sorts of different ways to win, baby. And the Oilers, they just need 1 game. They're going to hope maybe someone can channel their inner Pavel Zacha. He scored his first career playoff goal in his 25th playoff game tonight. And the Bruins lead 1-0. They need a win. Colorado needs a win. The Oilers need a win. Wouldn't it be awesome to have 3 Game 7s, 2 on Sunday, 1 on Monday? Let's do it. Would be a lot of fun. If there's a Game 7, we will be here noon to 6 on Sports 1440 on holiday Monday. So tell your friend because we'll have a lot of fun. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I am Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Don't be intoxicated. Don't get behind the wheel, whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, nothing. Be smart, be safe. Enjoy the weekend, and we will chat with you for Oiler fans, hopefully on Monday. Let's get to the Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance, driven by people, not products. They are locally owned and operated. They've expanded nationally, but the home office is right here in Edmonton because they know how to service Canadian businesses just like yours. Go to highstreetinsurance.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Craig Berube is back in Toronto as the Maple Leafs have hired him as their 32nd head coach in franchise history. He played 40 games with the club during the 91-92 season. Also spent time as the head coach with the Flyers and the Blues, winning a Stanley Cup in St. Louis in 2019. On the ice after 20 minutes, the Bruins lead the Panthers 1-0 in Game 6 of their second round series. Florida leads the series 3 games to 2. And later tonight, the Avalanche looking to stay alive as they host the Stars, trailing 3-2. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock in the association. We're about 35 minutes away from tip-off as the Pacers host the Knicks. Game 6 of their series, New York leading 3 games to 2. In the majors, the Blue Jays in action, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays down in Toronto. Right now, scoreless in the top of the 4th. These two teams meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock and tomorrow 11:30 or Sunday 11:30 a.m. You can hear both those games here on Sports 1440 radio feed only. Elsewhere, White Sox, Yankees tied at 1. The Phillies lead the Nationals 4-1. Mariners trail the Orioles 5-1, and the Marlins up on the Mets 4-0. Still to come tonight, Rangers take on the Angels, Brewers in Houston, Cards up against the Red Sox, and the Dodgers take on the Reds. Earlier today, Pirates knocked off the Cubbies 9-3. BCHL Alberta final, Sherwood Park takes on Brooks in Brooks tonight at 7. The Bandits lead that series 2 games to none. PWHL action, it's Game 5, Minnesota in Toronto. Right now, after 20 minutes, Minnesota leading 1-0 in the WNBA. Sun up on the Mystics 18-17, and later tonight, the Storm take on the Lynx. PGA Championship, Xander Schauffele atop the leaderboard at 12 under par. You've got Colin Morikawa 11 under, Sahith Theegala at 10 under. As for the Canadians in action, Adam Hadwin is 5 under par. Corey Connors 1 under with Adam Svensson. They should make the cut. Nick Taylor 1 over. Taylor Pedges 1 over. Mackenzie Hughes 2 over. Looks like they will miss out. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Turn Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440.